getting an attorney. If I can't get you more, even after our fee, then you owe us nothing, not even our costs. I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21-12670. Offices in Baton Rouge.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Wednesday, June 21st. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 91. Coming up on OTB, we recap LSU's win over Tennessee in the College World Series, and we have a few guests. Roddy Jones joins the show at 7:30. Matt Flynn is in studio for a full hour of flestering at 8 a.m., and Kris Budden joins the show at 9 a.m. Also, we might hear from Charles Hanagriff and T-Bob Hebert at some point during the show. You can follow it on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, and welcome into OTB here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Jake, Mario, and Taylor here with you on a Wednesday morning, and we have a big show planned. Cannot wait to get into today's show. I love the way Mario put it. Maybe at some point we'll catch up with T-Bob and Hanny. T-Bob wants to get these takes off, and Hanny is in Omaha, so we'll see how much Hanny celebrated as we got him slated to join us at 9:30. So I got a feeling he got some good celebrating in there in Omaha after LSU gets the victory. They beat Tennessee 5-0, and certainly we will cover it from every single angle. But we'll start off this morning like we do every single morning, going around the room, getting a little vibe check from the fellas. Mario, how you doing, brother?
Vibes are great, man. LSU still alive. Tennessee sent packing. Hope Tony Vitello enjoys Cancun. Vibes are good over here on a hump day, man.
What about you, Taylor?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I mean, we talked yesterday, and I was not super confident about this, but I didn't know that Nate Ackenhausen was going to be like the best pitcher on the staff last night. So, look, it was great. I had to work the game, got home a little late, but it was all worth it, man.
I'm going to take this one fully. Yesterday, when we were breaking down who was going to pitch and who was going to start, I didn't have Nate Ackenhausen starting the game. And I went fully in. I'm like, yeah, you'll see Cooper, which we did. You'll see Ackenhausen. You'll see Guidry. You might see Blake Money. You know, you're going to see maybe Coleman. You'll see Griffin Herring. I thought it was going to be Johnny Holstaff. It was not that. Now, I even went as far as say, you won't see anybody pitch 5 innings. Well, I was wrong on that account too, because Nate Ackenhausen gave you 6 innings, only gave up 4 hits, no runs, didn't walk a batter. Did not walk a batter, struck out 7. And that was the type of performance that we said it had to be. We said you had to be kind of superhuman, out of your body type experience. Not to say that this is not a talented pitcher. He's just not been asked to do this. So you had to do something that you haven't done, right? Either you haven't been asked to do it or you just don't have the ability to do it. Well, he just has not been asked to do this. So you got to be superhuman. And I put it out there yesterday. He was Superman yesterday for LSU. I mean, in complete control. How about Jay Johnson just deciding to stay with him time and time again? And you heard on the broadcast, they were, well, that was a hell of an outing. They're about to go get him, but job well done. He'd stay in. I mean, I felt like I heard that like 2 or 3 different times. And then Riley Cooper comes in, 3 innings, only gives up 2 hits, gives up no runs, only walks 1, strikes out 2, and he does his job yet again. Now, for Riley Cooper, he's been that guy, you know, many times in his LSU career. He was that guy for Jay at Arizona. But there was some struggles early in this season. But as of late, you talk about like postseason when the pressure is on, going back to the SEC tournament, he has been absolute lights out. And The old natural disasters. That's their nickname. That's who they are. And if you don't know who that is, you're not a wrestling fan from the late 80s, early 90s like we are, but just Google it and you'll know exactly who I'm talking about, because they just went out there. They kept you alive in the College World Series. They held a very good Tennessee offense to no runs. Not a single run. They were in complete command of the entire game, and it was that performance that we said it had to be. Jay Johnson, though, he talked about Ackenhausen giving him the start because I thought it was going to be someone else. Of the group of players that we kind of laid out yesterday, he probably would have been close to last in that group of players, maybe Griffin Herron behind him. But other than that, okay, well, Blake Money, he's been a starter before. We laid that out. Okay, well, Coleman's been a starter before. Cooper's been a starter before. Surely it's going to be one of those three guys. But Jay talked about why he started Nate Ackenhausen.
Trust in the competitor, and this is a big deal if you haven't been here before. I think our team's handled it great, honestly, and I knew he would handle it well. I knew he would throw strikes. Saw some things in a matchup that I liked. Saw some things in previous games here just throughout the tournament that I liked, that I thought he could be effective. The thought really was 3 innings, 60 pitches. My initial target was 12 hitters, and he obviously accomplished a lot more than that.
He actually doubled that number up. 12 hitters. He faces 24. That's why he goes 6 innings. He throws 93 pitches. He defied everything. He defied everything that you were hoping. You were hoping that he gives you 3 strong innings. Like if he gave you 3 innings, gave up 1 run, let's say struck out 2, didn't walk anybody, I'm tipping my cap. I'm coming on here this morning and I'm opening it up with, hey, he was a table setter. He gave you an opportunity to win the game, but to go 6 innings, to strike out 7, to not walk anyone and only give up 4 hits. I mean, that is a performance. Regardless of what happens in this game against Wake Forest, like it will be talked about for a very long time in LSU baseball lore, and it should be talked about because no one really saw that coming. Here is Nate Ackenhausen on his performance.
The changeup was really working with for me. I know with the wind blowing in and how hard it is to hit a ball out of here. On a normal day, I was just like I'd get a 2-0 changeup call and I'd just throw down the middle and say, let him put it in play, because you've seen some balls hit today that were probably 108 off the bat, and they were cut at the warning track. So I just pitched with confidence, had confidence in my defense behind me.
That's something also that you have to know. You have to know how the ballpark is playing, and we talked about that leading into the College World Series. And depending on who we had on, some people were like, yeah, it's going to change some offenses, and some were like, look, the ballpark's playing a little bit different. You can get it out of the ballpark, and it's not necessarily just the ballpark's dimensions. It's, well, what's going on around the ballpark, and the wind was absolutely blowing in. I mean, you saw Dylan Cruz put one in play where it's going to be a home run if you're playing at Alibok Stadium here in June. You saw Tommy White probably have one. I mean, you saw balls just go and just die in the outfield. So if you're a pitcher, well, you pitch to that. You understand how the ballpark is playing. It's just like finding out the strike zone. Now, thankfully, this strike zone actually had an idea of who it was, unlike a couple of days ago when you're playing against Wake Forest. And so those are things that if you're a good pitcher, you find out and okay, well, here's how the ballpark's playing. Okay, here's where the strike zone is. And I thought he did a fantastic job with that. And again, Riley Cooper did the same thing when he came on. Riley Cooper just continues to be consistent, just continues to be a guy that Jay Johnson is going to trust outside of Paul Skeens. He's going to trust him as much as anybody that he sends out there, right? He knows him. He's been with him in multiple places. You don't bring someone over who leads your team in appearances if you don't have that full belief in him. And I'll be honest with you, he comes into the game, and even like just watching the game and taking a step back and just being a fan, I'm like, okay, he's got it. That's Riley Cooper right now is in that mode. He is in that zone that you have full belief in him as well. And he gets you out of a couple of different big spots. And, you have a play at second base where Jordan Thompson, they're doing the whole deal where they switch him from shortstop to second and put Dugas at shortstop. And it's a routine play. Well, try to get it out of your glove, bounces out of your glove, and it feels like, oh, man, this is the situation, right? This is where Tennessee maybe takes full advantage of it. And he didn't panic. You go out there and you continue to pitch and you continue to get outs. And you saw that from Riley Cooper yet again. And Jay Johnson talked about Riley Cooper after the game.
I didn't feel like they were seeing Nate well, and I think Riley is about as comparable and close to Nate as possible. And I wanted to stay with that look because they were in between. And, you know, when you're pressing a little bit, when you're in an elimination game and you're trying to chase runs late, he's the type of pitcher that if you give him an inch, he can take a mile, and he did what he did tonight.
And at the Value Forward chat, Champ says, Cooper was so fired up. I love when a guy is locked in and feeling himself. That's when you see the full potential. I fully agree with you, Champ. Look at us. Who would have thought? But we are here together, Champ, because I fully agree with your take. When you have someone that is as locked in as he is. Now, Ackenhausen, you didn't know because we hadn't seen him in a while. Guy hasn't pitched in a while. But Cooper has been that guy since the SEC tournament against Arkansas. We saw it in the regionals. We saw it in the super regionals. We've seen it now in the College World Series a couple of times. He is dialed in. He knows exactly who he is. He knows exactly what his plan is as soon as he gets on the mound against every single batter. There is a plan. That is a veteran pitcher. That's someone that knows who he is going against and, again, knows the ballpark, knows the strike zone, kind of knows all the analytics of what you have to know to be competitive if you don't have, you know, Paul Skeens, 99, 101 every single time that you throw your fastball. So I thought last night was fantastic. I thought it was a total team effort. It was a baseball team that was locked in. It was a baseball team that was told Tennessee has the pitching depth to come out of the loser's bracket. Before the tournament even started, that was the narrative, right? Tennessee's pitching is going to get them out of the loser's bracket. They're going to be okay. If any team's going to be okay, that's how they're set up. LSU's got to win. If they drop a game, there's no way they can fight back. Well, there's still work to be done, but they have started the process of getting that work done. Again, Tennessee going home. LSU defeats them for the second time in Omaha. I know T-Bob's mentions are so excited about the fact that LSU figured out Tennessee. I know he has to be. He said he wanted to come on to give these takes. Well, he said 7 or 7:15. We haven't heard from him yet, but at some point, T-Bob will be on your screen yelling at you about LSU beating Tennessee.
Did you see his celebration video on Twitter?
Yeah. I thought he was going to pass out.
Yes, I thought so too. It was funny.
That was someone. I think this was before we started the show. That was like someone that wanted to say a lot of swear words, but there was a lot of small children around and he couldn't, and he was holding them all in.
Yeah, possibly sleeping too, those children. You could tell that was
that's true. That's a good call, Mario.
My children are sleep celebration.
Yeah, see, my children don't go to bed early. They never have. I was never someone who went to bed early. And if you can handle it, if you can go to bed a little bit later and wake up early, Joey Hester. If you're going to hoot with the Owls, you got a cock-a-doodle-doo with the Roosters. Yeah, that's how we handle it. So I wasn't even thinking that, but you're probably right. Whatever it was, he was bottling it in, and we've got to give him somewhere where he can let it all out.
Hell yeah. Hopefully Alice got to go to the pool too. That was funny.
Well done, Mario. Well done, because T-Bob did give the ultimate dad answer. Yeah, we'll see in a little bit. Anytime that you as a parent say, we'll see in a little bit, the chances of it happening are about 5% at best.
Well, it was raining too, I believe. I heard rain.
Yeah, that's true. And he even mentioned like the gray skies and what it was there. So we'll see if we can catch up with T-Bob. But we do have my guy, Roddy Jones, who played football and baseball at Georgia Tech. He covers them both. He's an analyst for, I think he's an analyst for lacrosse too. I mean, the guy does it all. But when we have Roddy on, we'll be able to talk about Wake Forest coming up. What does LSU have to do? Also covers the ACC football. He can talk about that opener, LSU and Florida State. So looking forward to having my guy Roddy on here in about 15 minutes from now. We will take our first break of the show. We'll see if we can get with T-Bob so he can yell at you and tell you how excited he is. Also, LSU baseball, thank you for winning me $36. Every time LSU and Tennessee play each other in a major sporting event, me and the sheriff bet $18 against each other, and it was double or nothing, so I appreciate that $36 LSU baseball. Yeah,
36 is some righteous bucks. What are you going to do with your winnings?
Piccadilly.
Ooh,
hell
I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Feels like
that's like 2 Piccadilly plates.
Well, I mean, if you take the Hester family, you're still owing them some money.
Well, yeah, but
you know, we travel in a pack, and it is a deep pack, and it is a 12-passenger van pack. So I'll still owe them some money, but I appreciate the sheriff buying my meal there at Piccadilly. All right, we will take our first break of the show. We have so much to get to. We hadn't even talked about the hitters for LSU because of the pitching performance being so dominating in a dominant fashion. Man, love watching the natural disasters go to work last night. But we've got a lot to get to. We'll do it when we hop back here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. If you are buying new, if you are leasing, if you are renting, it is the place to be. Now, certainly, like if you're buying new, well, everything's going to be available. That's the whole reason, right? They're going to have everything that they have available for you. And remember, you can customize that online. But like if you're leasing, sometimes you go somewhere, it's like, well, we have these vehicles available. It's not the case over at All-Star. Everything is available. Same thing in the rental process. Well, we've got our one SUV. We've got our one sedan. Maybe we have our truck. It's not the case over at All-Star. Like the midsize, full-size SUVs, the van, the trucks, plural, the sedans, the hybrids, everything is the crossover. Everything's going to be available in that rental process, per day rental prices. So if you've got the vacation coming up, if you're going to the beach, if you're going to the tournament, wherever you are going, just let them know. Call them today. You can leave tomorrow. They'll have it ready for you. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look.
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We're recapping LSU, Tennessee from the College World Series and getting you set for Wednesday's action. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Sewell, the 1-2 delivery. Off speed. Cruz launches it in the air to right. Going back, Christian Scott to the track, to the wall. This baby's gone! Dylan Cruz with a 2-run blast. And the Tigers extend the lead 5-0. Who thought you couldn't get a baseball out of this park tonight? Dylan Cruz with home run number 18. Hey now.
All right, welcome back into OTB. CB, I will raise my hand. I did not know if a baseball could get out of that ballpark. Now, certainly in the latter portion of that game, the wind did start to die down, and you saw some balls get out to the warning track, but my goodness, Dylan Cruz, he crushes the ball. Goes opposite field for the home run. He had another good one, as we said in the first segment, that if the wind's not blowing like it was any other ballpark, it is out. But he left no doubt with that one, and just another great performance from him. Gets a couple of hits, has a walk as well, so gets on base 3 times. But when you look across the lineup, and we said it yesterday, like Braden Jobert was the guy in game number 1, and you were kind of waiting for that guy, against Wake Forest. Now, I'm not saying the guys didn't deliver, but like a guy that maybe is not Trey Morgan or Dylan Cruz or Tommy White. Okay, well, Jobert was that guy in game 1. I think Cade Beloso, yet again, was that guy last night for the Tigers, because Dylan Cruz, well, he does what he does. He gets 2 hits, a home run, a couple of RBIs. I mentioned he has a walk, so he's on base 3 times. Trey Morgan gets on base 3 times, has 2 hits, gets hit with a pitch, and Trey Morgan's been on fire. I mean, he's been a tin roof in the summertime hot. I mean, that's who he has been. And when he is locked in like this, when you see him going the other way like he has been doing, watch out. That's when he's fully locked in, when he is using the full field, right? The game against Wake Forest, he hits a double down the right field line. Last night, hits one down the left field line. I mean, he is locked in right now, and that is a good thing for LSU. But Cade Beloso was a guy, he got you 3 hits. He had another walk. He was on base 4 times. He got you an RBI, and he just continues to be someone that you can count on. And his story's great. We all know his story, but for him to be in that position, be in the College World Series, you have to love it. I mean, y'all have watched LSU sports y'all's entire lives. I mean, there's always these guys. There's always these guys that give themselves to the program. And we could go, sport by sport by sport and name different guys. But Cade Beloso, to me, will always be in that category. I mean, Gavin Dugas is in that as well. But guys that just give themselves to the program, they don't really complain. They don't care how much you're playing at this point compared to that point. Just when their number's called, they show up.
Yeah, for sure they do. And like you said, you can look across each sport. Russell Gage is a guy that comes to mind on the football team. Great senior year, and he's having a good career in the NFL now. He was the guy that grinded. But Beloso, T-Bob talks about it all the time. He talked to Beloso's dad in the offseason, and he was like, I don't really know if there's a spot for Cade this year and all that. But, look, he's become an everyday player and a player that LSU needs to succeed. Yeah. You mentioned it. He got 3 hits last night in a game where hits were hard to come by.
There's only 8. For your team.
And he had 3 of them.
He had 3 of them.
Yeah, you see it in basketball, too. I remember the team that made the Final Four had guys like Tasman Mitchell, Gary Temple, who kind of dedicated themselves to LSU. And just like that team, I'm really happy these guys get to have this experience on this stage.
8 hits total. And we talked about it. Like, okay, Cruz gives you 2. Morgan gives you 2. And there's 4 of the hits. Outside of that, you had Gavin Dugas had a hit, and then you had Cade Beloso have the 3 there. That's it. That's all you got. And so you had to have, again, you have to have guys step up. You had it on the mound. You had it in Cade Beloso. That's what Omaha is. And I'm not telling y'all anything that y'all don't know. LSU's been there enough. Y'all know this. Like, you have to have those type of performances. Now, do you need more from the bottom of your lineup? Yeah, you absolutely do, right? You got to get Jordan Thompson going. I mean, he is just swimming in it right now. Braden Joubert, ever since that game one, swimming in it a little bit. You know, he did get hit by a pitch. He got on base, but that is somebody that right now they're throwing him nothing but breaking balls and basically in the dirt, right? And that has been an Achilles heel for him so far here in the College World Series. Josh Pearson, somebody you got to get going. He was 0 for 3 last night, had a couple of punch-outs. And so when LSU's going really, really well and they're living up to their potential offensively, it's from the bottom of the lineup because the guys at the top continue to produce, but you got to get that group going. And Jordan Thompson right now, he's going through it. He is absolutely going through it. He was asked to lay down a bunt 2 different times yesterday. He could not get either one of them down. And he popped one up to third base, popped one up to first base, right? And the game before, he strikes out Golden Sombrero 4 times. You got to get him going. He is somebody that has been clutch in his LSU career. He has the error of playing second base. Okay, now he's played a great shortstop. I mean, some of those double plays, and you see his arm, and this is not a Jordan Thompson hate fest. In fact, y'all know I love my fella. He's from San Diego. I love the fact that he has fought back and to become the defensive guy that he has become. I mean, he's worked hard, and that has been an all-season storyline. We know what he was a year ago. He had some struggles, and he's fought hard to be one of the better shortstops that you'll see. You got to get him going, certainly at the plate. Like the error yesterday, okay, it wasn't a shortstop. It was a second. It's a routine play. You got to make it, okay, but it's more at the plate. You got to give productive at-bats, okay? You are somebody that has done it before. You know you have the skill set. You know you can do it, but you got to do what they ask you to do. If they ask you to lay a bunt down, man, you got to get the bunt down 2 different times. So Jay's got faith in you. The coach calls it again, right? You pop one up. You don't look comfortable doing so. He calls it again, and you pop it up again. You have to lay it down. You have the trust of the coaching staff, but you got to give productive outs if you are asked to give yourself up. And we'll see if Jordan Thompson can bounce back against Wake Forest. All right, we are getting ready to take our next break. As I mentioned, we've got Roddy Jones set to join us, and Roddy calls college baseball, college football. So we're going to kind of go a little bit all over the place with Roddy, but now you're facing Wake Forest again. Okay, what does LSU do as far as on the mound? What's Wake Forest going to have available on the mound, right? Are we going to see some pitchers come back on short rest? All those questions will be asked to my guy, Roddy Jones, when we come back here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford has up to $7,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
App today. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
Cut through the static and listen to 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge in high definition. Simply tune to 98.1 and select HD2.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Jimmy Hot, Charles Hanagriff for the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're live in Omaha at Ameristar at their sportsbook, brought to you by United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. It's Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. from Omaha Wednesday on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Very excited for my next guest. You can catch him all over the place, SiriusXM with me, College Sports Today, off campus. I mean, he does multiple shows. You can catch him over on ACC Radio. If you're watching a college sporting event on ESPN, there's a chance that Roddy Jones is going to be the analyst on that. Doesn't really matter what the sport is going to be, but more importantly, he led the county, the all-time leading rusher in his county in the state of Georgia with 5,055 rushing yards and 76 76. Wow, Roddy getting the end zone. 76 touchdowns, Roddy Jones. How about that? Did you know that you were the county's all-time leading rusher?
I did, and I would like to point out for people down there, like, that's the county that produces talent. Perry Riley, Kelvin Shepard came from DeKalb County. So I just I'm fortunate to have had a coach that gave me the ball a lot from a young age.
I mean, 76 tutters, my man. I mean, look, I knew you had it in you. I'm not surprised like that. It feels disrespectful. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that is a lot of touchdowns, over 5,000 yards. Of course, Roddy played football and baseball for Georgia Tech. Man, how you doing, brother? It's been like 2 weeks. That's a long time for us.
It is a long time, although the streak will end on Friday, I believe. I think we got the show together then. But I've been good, man. How have you been?
Just sweating through the College World Series, Roddy. Just sweating through it, going through these LSU games. You face Tennessee, and you get the victory. And Paul Skeens is on the mound, so you feel good about it. You knew Wake Forest was coming, and you and I were texting throughout that Wake Forest-LSU game, and you knew it was going to be one play here or there. We've been waiting on that matchup really all season long. It did not disappoint either, Roddy. I mean, that was a matchup that was anticipated, and a lot of times when you anticipate one like that, it doesn't live up to it, but that one certainly did.
It really did, man, and the margins were so fine throughout the game. I mean, you look at the ball that Danny Corona lost in, I think it was the 4th or the 5th inning, lost it in the sun. LSU's able to get a run from there to get a 2-run lead, which, like, in the College World Series, 2-run leads are really, really tough to overcome because of the way that ballpark plays. And then LSU, the thing that's sort of been the question all year, which is the mound minus Paul Skeens and somewhat Ty Evans too, because I think he's been really, really good and probably overshadowed. His quality's been overshadowed by Skeens. But the bullpen let him down. I mean, the walks were killer because, I was texting you, man. Like, I thought that Wake Forest really struggled with the velocity that LSU was bringing from the mound. Anything 96 plus, and look, it's not just straight 96 plus. It's 96 plus with movement. They really struggled to barrel that up. But not only did the walks hurt, I thought LSU let him off the hook a couple times with some off-speed pitches. The one to Danny Corona was an 0-2 hanging breaker. Like, that was one where he had, again, been a little bit late on the fastball. So you miss a spot with an off-speed, he barrels it up. Same thing with Bennett Lee. Struggled with the fastball. You miss a spot with an off-speed, he barrels it up, and next thing you know, Wake Forest wins the game. It's an interesting College World Series, but the margins are so fine, and I think that Wake Forest LSU game really showed us that.
Yeah, and now it's going to be another matchup after LSU gets the victory 5-0 against Tennessee yesterday. And for LSU, Roddy, and I'm sure you watched it, that worked out perfectly for them as far as who they have available in the bullpen, as far as who, starting options, because you only pitch 2 pitchers. Ackenhausen goes out there, he's Superman, gives you 6 innings. You were hoping to get 3. Riley Cooper comes in, he pitches 3 innings and shuts the door. And now you have options. Now you have some guys that are available and, a couple days rest. Do you toy with the idea of Paul Skeens even coming back? But Wake Forest is going to have those arms as well. Who do you expect to see for the Deamon Deacons?
It's a great question. I would expect to see Sean Sullivan start the game. They started Josh Hartle the other day. Apparently, talking to Wake people, the splits would suggest that LSU struggles a little bit more against the lefties than the righties. The other option that they would go with is Seth Keener, right-handed pitcher who has been fantastic late in the year. He's been their midweek starter for most of the season. But because of injuries, because of some shuffling, he had started some weekend games for him. And he's been probably their best starting pitcher outside of Brett Lauder over the last, month and a half or so. But I would expect to see Sean Sullivan. You're going to get sort of a funky delivery from a left-hander out of a 3-quarter slot. He's a transfer from Northwestern that they expected to be sort of a midweek guy or a bullpen arm. But because of the injury early on to Teddy McGraw, who was probably going to be a first-round pick before he went down before the season, he slotted in as the Saturday starter and was absolutely phenomenal throughout the year. Hit a little bit of a wall, but I would expect to see Sean Sullivan. The thing is, though, Jake, is like Wake Forest, not only are they incredibly deep from a pitching standpoint, you talked about how things have worked out for LSU. This is set up perfectly for Wake. They have option after option after option. I would think the only guys that are not available to pitch today for them are Lauder and Hartle. And Lauder, you would probably see tomorrow, I would guess, if they went to that game. So it sets up perfectly for Wake. And, I'm not necessarily rooting one way or the other, but the prospect potentially of a matchup tomorrow between Rhett Lauder and Paul Skeens is really tasty.
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, you would have them, 4 days rest, and you would have 2 of the better pitchers in the country. I mean, but you mentioned Seth Keener. I mean, he's got an ERA of 0.60. I mean, and that's not just like Roddy, as you know. It's not like in 10 innings pitched. He's pitched 30 innings. That's with a couple of starts in there. I mean, that is someone that is what makes Wake so dangerous in this format, is they can throw a guy like that out there that's kind of an afterthought. Like, he's not Sullivan, Lauder, or any of the other guys that we know that are going to take the bump on the weekends. I mean, he's a midweek guy, but he's been dominating.
He really has. And again, that's the thing. Like, that's the flexibility of Wake Forest, because both Keener and Sullivan are accustomed to coming out of the bullpen. So either one of them can do it. So even if you get 3 innings out of one of them, you can get 3 to 4 innings out of the next one after. I would expect you'd see both of them today. But even if you don't, there's Cam Manassi, who has been fantastic as the closer for Wake Forest over the past few games, but really all season. They haven't really needed him that much this year, to be honest. Like, there haven't been a ton of close games played, but he's been fantastic. You saw Cole Rowland and the energy he brings. Michael Massey has been fantastic out of the bullpen. Those are the big 3 arms, but they've got other guys too that can fill spots, can hit matchups. So that's what makes Wake so dangerous. But you're right. Like, you roll out a midweek guy, quote unquote midweek guy, Seth Keener, although he started in the ACC tournament, started in regionals. Like, you roll out that guy, and it's almost unfair that you have an arm like that coming out of the bullpen.
So if you're LSU, Roddy, and you're taking a look at what your options are, and again, last night was huge. You only had to use 2 pitchers, so you still have a couple of arms that you have some belief in. But if you were LSU, would you even toy with the idea of having Paul Skeens come back on 3 days rest, or knowing that you've got to beat a team like Wake 2 times to advance, would you, and I'm not saying save him because you can't save anything when it's a situation elimination game for LSU, but just knowing what Wake Forest would be able to throw against you as well, like, would you maybe hold Paul Skeens for that second game?
So it's a great question. I was going back and forth with this with a couple of guys yesterday. I think, depending on what the workload for Paul Skeens would be today, I believe today would be a bullpen day for him. I think you toy with him coming out of the bullpen to give you an inning, or maybe 2, in a high leverage situation. So maybe, there's trouble in the 5th. You bring in Skeens to get you out of it. He gets you a couple outs in the 6th, throws 20 pitches, and then is out of there. And then you have the ability to either start him or do the same thing tomorrow, so that maybe you can sort of use his innings in the most impactful way rather than just throwing him out as a starter. The real question for Jay Johnson is, like, how does Paul Skeens feel about that? I think I know. I think Paul Skeens wants to be on the bump. But how do his people feel about that? Because that dude's about to make a lot of money in about a month, and you don't want anything to jeopardize that. Now, he's got a lot going his way, has not been a pitcher his whole life. There's not a lot of mileage on that arm relative to other guys who've just been pitching, with him having been a position player. But he's also got the golden arm, and you certainly don't want to toy with that at all.
Oh, Roddy, we know how that conversation is, and when you become a meathead like I am, like, can you go? Yeah, I can go. Like, wait a minute, you throw 120 pitches yesterday. It's like, yeah, it's fine. But yes, there's other conversations that have to be had.
We'll be good.
Yeah, without question. And I'm kind of sad that these two teams were in the same side of the bracket. And look, the first game, as we mentioned, it lived up to it. But you and I have done radio, obviously, all baseball season long, and we've been waiting on this matchup. We've talked about this matchup. We've talked about these being the 2 best teams in the country. And so I'm with you. Like, obviously, like, being an LSU guy, like, I want LSU to win, but I want to see Louder versus Skeens. Like, I want to see them for a full game, because that's the conversation that everyone's had. Like, no matter who covers college baseball, like, that's the matchup. Can you imagine what it would look like, what the stadium would feel like if you had that matchup and winner goes to the championship series?
It would be incredible, man. It would be incredible. The shame of it is, this is just how baseball works, that both of them would be on short rest. So who knows what we would get? I think we know. Like, Rhett Louder has not had a bad start this year. The most runs he's given up is 3, and I think that's happened twice.
Yeah.
He has been fantastic. And you could say the same with Paul Skeens. And also, it'd be super cool if Ben McDonald's calling that game when Skeens breaks his record for number of strikeouts in SEC history in a season. It would be awesome. I think the thing that LSU has to do tonight to get it to that point is make sure that the top of Wake's lineup doesn't get going. The first 4 hitters in Wake's lineup, Tommy Hawk, Pierce Bennett, Brock Wilken, Nick Kurtz, they've only got 5 hits combined in the College World Series in those first 2 games. Nick Kurtz still doesn't have a hit. He's the best hitter in that Wake Forest lineup. So if you're LSU, you can't let them get going today, because it feels like, especially with Hawk at the top and Kurtz and Wilken, they're gonna get going at some point. They're just too good not to. You just hope that it's not today if you're LSU, so that you can get to that point where we might just see Louder and Skeens.
Catching up with my guy, Roddy Jones, here on OTB. Roddy, obviously, I mentioned it off the top, college baseball. You can cover that. You played it in college football, one of the best as well. And you and I are about to be in college football talking season. I mean, that is coming. Media days are close. We are less than a month away from kind of having that situation play out. So it will be here before we know it. And LSU is not going to have to look too far on the schedule to find a battle. Game 1 in Orlando against the ACC's Florida State, a game that you and I have already started to talk about. And I love these matchups. I do. This is, hey, 2 national championship contenders from the get-go. And Florida State, they got everybody back. They convinced everybody that had, kind of pro prospects to come back for another year. They've added through the transfer portal. Is Florida State your favorite over even maybe a Clemson in the ACC, Roddy?
I am not ready to go there yet, but I do think Florida State is very, very close. The thing that I look at with Florida State, and like you said, we're getting football mode, so we're digging in here. They lost 3 games last year, and they were to NC State, Wake Forest, and Clemson, the 3 programs that have consistently been ahead of them over the last 7 or 8 years or so. And then they went on that run where they beat like Syracuse. They went on a run where they won the rest of the games. But there are 2 teams that were bowl teams on that schedule. There was other than Oklahoma in the bowl game, but it was Syracuse, who was 6-6, and Louisiana, who was 6-6. The rest of them were below 500 when you look at like a Florida at the end of the year. So they definitely dominated, but it wasn't the level of competition that you would want in order for me to take a step and say this is the favorite. Like, you still got to beat the teams that are ahead of you, and they weren't able to do that. They are incredibly talented. I'm curious to see what the line is, like what people are thinking of them versus LSU, because I would guess LSU would be a fairly heavy favorite, but we'll see. This is going to be a really good Florida State team. I expect them to win 9 or 10 games. I just think they're not quite on LSU's level. They're not quite on Clemson's level, despite them being very, very good.
Yeah, and the way that game played out last year, and the extra point being blocked, it being in the Superdome, the feeling that everyone had leaving that stadium. There's going to be some focus on that game from both sides, and I cannot wait to get to Orlando to cover that one. It's going to start the season off right. Roddy, we always appreciate your time. I'm sure you got like 3 other shows that you have to do today, so we appreciate you hopping on with us. And, hey, over 5,000 yards, all-time leader in the county. I'm just saying, you heard him. You know the names that come from that county. I didn't know that stat, so I was just excited to get it out there to the people, Roddy.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. It makes you feel old because it's almost a 15 or 16-year-old stat, but good to catch up, Jake.
Yeah, I played in college 16 years ago, so yeah. Thanks for that one on the way out, Roddy.
Yeah, of course.
All right, there he is, my guy, Roddy Jones. You can catch him with me on Off Campus coming up this Friday, Sirius XM, Channel 84 over on College Sports Radio. All right, we will take that break. Continuing the conversation, LSU is facing off against Wake Forest. We still have some things that we got to get to with that Tennessee victory as well. We'll do it all when we hop back here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, so join me for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Transfer pitcher Justin Lohr joins the show, and so does Kris Demouy. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Maybe a surprise, from a name from a starter, but not a surprise performance. Every game he's pitched in this year, I think we've only lost one time that he's pitched the entire year, and I look for those things. He did a great job executing, and then, Riley at this point is probably one of the most experienced pitchers of pitching in this ballpark and having success. Did his deal. Great performance by Dylan at the top of the lineup. We did just enough against, in my opinion, one of the two best pitching staffs in college baseball. And to beat them 4 times this year is a great accomplishment for us because of the respect that I have for Tony and how well they recruit and the Tennessee program. So wrap that one up and on to tomorrow.
Think about that. Think about where you were against Tennessee, in the last couple of years, in the postseason, in the regular season, and it feels weird because LSU baseball has always been that team. It felt like they were on a different level than you. Like you felt like they were, like not even a couple steps, like a mile ahead of you.
Yeah, it feels great if you're an LSU fan. Like the LSU, glory days were supposed to kind of be coming to an end with Paul Mainieri retiring. They were supposed to be on the come up, but I said it on the show, I think, last week. Mainieri's last game in the Super Regional against Tennessee, you get eliminated. Jay, his first crack in Omaha, sweeps them 2-0, sends their asses home. Like, that feels good if you're an LSU fan.
Well, yeah. It's more than that. Like Jake said, yeah, they got eliminated from Tennessee, but last year – you went to Knoxville and you struggled mightily, to say the least. I mean, Tennessee, I think they put up double-digit runs in every game in Knoxville against you last year. And, and that's why I was so unconfident yesterday. I was like, LSU's the better team, but you have to beat a good Tennessee squad 4 out of 5 times that you played them. I didn't think they could do it, and it was impressive.
And we laid it out yesterday. I mean, when you face a team twice even, I was talking about my NFL experience. Like, we would face the Raiders, and they would be – shat and not any good. I think I could say that. It's not the word. And that second time was always hard. It was really hard. Like, they were a bad football team, but it's like they know us, we know them. They know what we had success in the first time against them, and it would be a struggle. And sometimes you don't even get the win. And so to beat a team like that 4 out of 5 times with that staff, because we all agree, like, that was when the brackets were set and you kind of were starting to see how it was going to play out. You knew Wake Forest and you knew Tennessee were going to have the pitching staffs to really give you trouble in an Omaha format, because a lot of times when you're going deep in your bag, well, they have a guy that starts the weekend or is weekend caliber starting in the SEC, ACC that they can throw out there. And obviously you still have that challenge with Wake Forest, but to beat Tennessee 4 out of 5 times, to hold them to no runs, because the staff is very impressive and they are set up to have success in this format. Let's not act like they can't hit. I mean, obviously Tennessee has a really good lineup as well. It's a lefty heavy, as we talked with Russ Rucker yesterday. You throw your 2 lefties and you absolutely shut the door, shut them out, and my goodness, that was a lot of fun to watch. And I can't imagine, I don't think anybody outside of the LSU baseball program and people involved were as happy as our guy, T-Bob Hebert. If you haven't checked out, I think we can play it because I don't think he curses. I think he just grunts the entire time because he's trying not to be loud. Either the kids were asleep or he was trying not to say a swear word in front of them. So we'll have that for you later on. But when we come back, get a full hour of flestering. I'm going to make Matt uncomfortable, make him talk baseball, be a real sports-heavy guy. He's not going to know what the hell's going on. So stay tuned for that coming up on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets with a hood to swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clashing, chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like it's Wall Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8 a.m. on Wednesday, June 21st. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 95. Coming up on OTB, Matt Flynn joins the show in studio for a full hour of flestering. We talk to Kris Budden at 9 a.m. and Charles Hanagriff joins the show from Omaha at 9:30. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2 of OTB here on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. And it is time for some flestering. Maybe a different version of flestering. I'm going to grill Matt Flynn on his baseball knowledge. We're going to talk spin rates. We're going to talk the wind coming in the ballpark last night. How did it affect the batters? We are going to cover it with Matt Flynn here.
I actually know a little baseball.
Don't start this segment with, I played Little League.
Played it when I was a kid. A couple all-star teams. Not a big deal.
It's really not. I think everybody made the all-star team. What league did you play in? Was it Little League? Was it Babe Ruth? Was it Dixie?
I was Little League.
I was Little League. Ew.
What?
You know, we're just in Shreveport.
Ever heard of the Little League World Series?
Yeah, but I mean, the Dixie champion would smash the Little League back in the day.
I don't even know what that means.
Y'all didn't have the Dixie League?
No. Sounds like it would be banned today.
Oh man.
No, I just had Little League. I didn't have Dixie League.
Okay, all right.
What was it? Like a step up?
Where I lived, it was. And Hunt Palmer can come in here and he can debate. I think he played Little League, and I played Dixie in Shreveport. So I just wondered.
He played Little. So y'all had 2 in Shreveport.
Yeah. There was a Little League, but all the best players played in Dixie.
What do they do now?
Play every day.
Like in Baton Rouge, it's not Little League, right?
No, I don't. That's
even
a great point.
Even though
I don't even
Louisiana
know.
won the Little League World Series a couple years ago.
I don't even know what. I'll joke aside, I don't even know what it is because
and your boy's playing it, right?
Yeah.
You don't even know.
I don't like. It's just traction league, but there's like so many tournaments that go on the weekends now. Like I don't know, like when you and I were playing, like you played your regular season, and then you played All-Stars.
Yep.
And you'd have All-Stars, and you'd go to, your parish, and then you'd go to state, and then you'd go to nationals. Nationals was in Troy, Alabama when I was coming up, and that's just kind of how you did it. I don't know how they do it now. I just know there's like different tournaments every single weekend.
Yeah, we would have, I don't even know if it was called regionals, but it was like our little slice of East Texas, and then we'd go to sectionals, then you'd go to state. We never made it past sectionals.
That didn't surprise me.
They split our city up into like 3 all-star teams. That was what happened.
They split Tyler, Texas.
Oh yeah, we had some
3
ballers.
all-star teams.
We had some ballers.
That's probably your first mistake.
Tyler East, Tyler West, Tyler North. Tyler West was always the best.
See, y'all always think everything's bigger in Texas. If you just actually used like the one Tyler
You're
team.
saying in Shreveport, y'all played in 2 different leagues.
They did. There was one for the good players and one for the not so good players. You missed a great conversation yesterday as well.
Really?
Cocaine Bear versus Meth Gator.
Haven't we had that one already?
We have.
Yeah.
But
have you seen Cocaine Bear?
I have not.
I hadn't either.
They are making a Meth Gator movie though.
My kids just don't want to watch it with me yet.
Oh, the kids don't want to watch Cocaine Bear. Would you let them watch Cocaine Bear?
No, it was a joke, man. Relax.
All right, we do have to get baseball thoughts because you said you watched the game. You and I were texting about it last night,
and I'm nursing a little bit of what they call a hangover.
Can I interest you in some My High?
I'm drinking it right now.
DrinkMyHigh.com. It is a cure.
It was my birthday yesterday.
Oh, it was.
Yep. Thanks for the good wishes.
The bad part is, one, I knew that because you share the same birthday with my father. Yesterday was my father's birthday. Today's my mother's birthday. So happy birthday to Joey and Nancy. Yeah, you as well. I feel bad. Somewhat. Not
Happy
a lot
birthday
because
to
like
myself.
you probably didn't tell me happy birthday if I had to guess.
At least not on the day.
Yeah. So happy birthday. It's the
Thank
same
you.
thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've gone to your party every year.
I didn't have a.
No.
We're spending so much time traveling right now. We just didn't. I wasn't gonna make everyone
pretty
just
selfish.
go rage on a Tuesday.
Pretty selfish of you, though.
I know. I get it.
Yeah.
No, it is.
Because your birthday party always ends up the same way with our wives judging us.
I was big time. Well, they enable us, then they instigate us, then they judge us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It ends up being bro time.
Uh-huh.
But they're there and they're all talking bad about us.
No, trust me, I feel bad about it. I know everyone expects it, like a really good birthday party, and I almost just folded up the company this year just so we could do it instead of traveling and sell.
So are you telling me you're so selfish that you were trying to go to Houston and Dallas and all these different markets selling My High instead of having your birthday party?
Yeah, no, that is selfish when you put it that way.
Well, I mean, you got a vacation plan coming up here in a couple of weeks. That could have been birthday party time.
Should have canceled the vacation. It is the one thing I look forward to every year. Or one of the many things, but that's one thing.
Your birthday party, not the vacation with your family,
Yes,
right?
the birthday party.
Yes, yeah. Want to make sure we had that information correct. All right. Well, you still have time. I'll let you know.
But I did watch the game.
You're one of 3 that you've watched this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I've watched 3 for sure. Watched a little bit of the Super Regionals too.
Okay. Have you watched the entire College World Series? There's been 3 games involving the LSU Tigers.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I hadn't watched the other games. I thought.
Look,
come on.
That's a stretch.
No, actually, so in my office, I put it on the background. So I have kind of technically had I think almost every game on a TV.
Okay.
As some sort of background noise, but actually intently watched the LSU games.
Yeah.
Cheered. Like 2 nights ago when we played Wake Forest, like I could not believe the curse words that were coming out of my mouth. And I'm like, this is the second game I've watched. Why am I so engaged? Why am I so emotionally involved in this game right now?
Yeah. I think we need to break that down. Like, I mean, LSU, typically if you go to LSU, if you're an LSU fan, like baseball is kind of like it's football, then it's baseball. Is it because, LSU maybe wasn't as good when you were in school? Let's really unpack this. Let's go back in time.
About what?
Why you're not diving into every single game.
I don't have time. Well, let me talk about this real quick. I tried multiple times during the year to watch the game, but my TV did not recognize my ESPN Plus login information. I want to know if other people have had this issue because I've talked to a couple people that have. I know I have a subscription to ESPN Plus because I can watch stuff on my phone. I can watch stuff on a computer if I'm logged in. But originally, I had the ESPN Plus bundle, which you could get like Disney, ESPN Plus, and Verizon and Hulu, whatever it was. It was like a bundle. You got all 3 or 4 for like $10 a month or whatever it is. And so I ended up I ran out or I canceled that and I got a standalone ESPN Plus subscription so I could prepare for this show to watch sports.
Nobody believes.
And so my TV is just all confused. And every time I try to click on a game, it says, oh, and I have YouTube TV. And it says my subscription does not allow access to this game on my TV. So I tried to watch baseball.
So if that happens, typically that means the game is on the SEC network or one of the ESPN, ESPN, ESPN2.
No, because
ESPN.
when I look at the ESPN app, it says it's on ESPN Plus.
I've had that problem as well, and what I've noticed, it was it would be on ESPN Plus and ESPN News or 3, and it wouldn't let me watch it unless it was solely on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's happened to me before. I have the same thing. I have ESPN
when you go
Plus.
to the app right on your phone and it shows you what network it's on, and I would assume if it's only on ESPN Plus, or it would just say ESPN Plus, right? If it's on ESPN Plus and ESPN News, it would say both, right?
I mean, you have some people. Okay, you have some
YouTube,
people.
I've heard that if you have YouTube TV, it kind of screws you up.
Linda says same here. Michael says every damn time. Taylor feels like he's maybe agreeing with you. Let's see. Joey says, I was in Canada Sunday, and when I went to my ESPN app, it said I couldn't watch in my region, But when I went to LSU baseball page and clicked their link, it brought me to the ESPN app, and it was fine. So it feels like you just got to work a little harder.
Who wants to go through all that? I mean, for the World Series, of course, but like in a regular game during the regular season, I don't have time for that.
Let's see. Krista says, I had that issue with my ESPN Plus. You have to completely log out and log back in.
Okay, I'm having that problem too. Let's see if that works.
You are?
Yeah, $9 a month for nothing.
Like, what are we doing?
Go Packers, which I'm sure is a fan of Matt Flynn. Your TV is probably trying to connect to cable through your internet provider. See, it feels like there's a solution, but at least you know there is a problem. Like, you're not the only one. A lot of times when you come in here and you just talk about God knows what, like it's you. It's solely you. Like, you're like Taylor Swift. Maybe it's you. But here it feels like
No, and I would
others.
agree with you. There's a lot of user error in what I do, especially when it comes to sports and sports watching. But this one I feel like is a pretty widespread thing because I actually tried multiple times. Most every time, like on Friday evenings, it's just good to put it on. And I couldn't. So I had to watch Bluey.
With your children.
No, they were gone.
They were gone. Well, okay, you watched the game last night. Don't leave us waiting. Don't bury the lead.
We won.
Okay, break it down for us. You said in the group chat last night that you were going to come from 8 to 9 on this station and break down baseball like it's never been broken down before.
Well, like our leadoff hitter finally got his bat going. I was afraid he was going to get dropped down the 9 hole. He didn't get it going soon.
Who's our leadoff hitter?
Cruz, bro.
Okay. That is correct. Okay, so there's one thought. Our leadoff hitter, one of the best hitters in the country, if not the best, needs to get on base or he's going to be dropped down, but he got on base. He got on base 3 times, including a home run.
What I did notice is that we did have a little lineup change. Our shortstop was batting a little higher in the lineup than he was the day before.
And his name?
Jordan Thompson.
God, you were hovering over this conversation right now. Nice job. He didn't do well. He didn't do well. He had a couple of chances.
His bat's been pretty cold.
Yeah. He had a couple chances.
He got the bat on the ball, though, a couple times.
Yeah, on a bunt in the air twice.
Yeah. He was a couple feet away, though, from.
All jokes, we were talking about that. Like, as much as he is struggling, he was, the first time inches, and the second time a couple of feet away from, something that can get you out of a slump. Because he is swimming in it, as I said earlier. Like, he's struggling. He had 4 strikeouts, the Golden Sombrero in the game against Wake Forest. You got 2 pop-up bunts in this game against Tennessee. You make an error at
maybe just
second.
not bunt him.
I am all for, like, that's a conversation. I am all for a sacrifice bunt, and I know that's a back and forth and hashtag never bunt, and some people love it. I am all for a sacrifice bunt because it's part of baseball. I grew up watching the Braves. It's certainly a part of National League Baseball when there was no DH. You sacrifice the guy over, but you got to get it down. Like, that's the whole point. Like, you have to get the bunt down. You are helping your team move the runner over. And a lot of people are like, you're giving up and out. You're putting pressure on the defense as well. But my goodness, hey, if I give you the, touching your ears, your nose, your butt, whatever it is, like, get it down.
But I've been watching, like I said, I've had the games on. I've watched every game, LSU game, the last 3 or 4 games. I haven't seen a college kid get a bunt down on the ground yet.
You had Gavin Dugas got one down yesterday finally, but
I did not see that one.
It's the one where he bunts it to the third baseman. I think it's going to go foul. But that's one of the things about bunting. You do put pressure on the defense, and he kind of panics and he fields it and he throws it almost
I was watching
into
Oral
the
Roberts
seats.
yesterday. They were gripping the bat all the way around the bat with their fingers, and one of the kids got hit in the finger. It was just ugly. Kids just don't know how to bunt. I feel like, what are we doing? So don't do it.
It almost does feel like, like when you're asked to do something awkward and it's awkward and you're not good at it. Every time, this is every college baseball player, right? You're supposed to, and gosh, I feel like the old man, but you're supposed to scoot up in the box and you square around and you don't stab at it and all those things. It's like every college player, it's just like, oh my God, they're just like throwing the bat in the barrel of the bat into the baseball.
What are we doing?
Could you do any better?
Oh, yeah.
Is the question here.
I got incredible hand-eye coordination.
All right. So far we've gotten 2 thoughts from you. LSU won was the first thought. The second thought was the leadoff guy.
He was about to get
He's got to get going, or he's going to drop down to the 9 hole.
Yeah.
Any more thoughts before we take our first break?
Well, I was going to say, well, no, I don't have any more thoughts. We need to hit more dingers, though.
The wind was blowing in, though.
Doesn't matter. Saw our guy in the Super Regional hit it over the bleachers. You think wind's going to stop that thing? Let's do that again.
All right, we'll take a break. More flustering when we come back here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
The whole episode we did with Bane and Dingers. We'll have to see if we can pull some of that up. Call Thomas email today. Riverlands Insurance. They are going to help you in your insurance situation. Right? They're going to give you all of the information, and they can do it right now. Like if you are listening to this, you take down this number, you call Thomas, he's going to answer, and he's going to help you right now. It's 8:16. He can help you by 8:18 here in the morning. 225-206-1517, and that is everywhere in the state of Louisiana. So if you're listening to us, Shreveport and 1130 a.m. The Tiger. If you're listening to us in Alexandria or New Orleans on ESPN, no matter where you're at, we are talking to you. So don't allow that 225 area code to fool you. Riverlands Insurance is going to help you with whatever it is, and they're going to help you again right now today. So call Thomas. Don't wait. That number is 225-206-1517, 225-206-1517.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet. The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We're recapping LSU, Tennessee from the College World Series and getting you set for Wednesday's action. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Why you had to hide away for so long? Where did we go wrong?
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB.
Have I ever asked you this before? Like, you think I could rock the all-the-way button?
I've seen two people try, Bubba Watson and Tim Tebow.
Isn't it in style a little bit?
I don't know.
What do you think?
How do you feel about it?
Like with a backwards hat, I don't mind it. I'd like to get a close-up.
Taylor, can you put Matt on his close-up over here? He is really worried about how this top button looks, because that's what everybody's tuning in to see. Is as Matt tries to see if the top button is working for his polo he's wearing.
It's not bad, right? Not bad.
Like, sure. I guess. I don't know. I wear hoodies every day. I don't wear polos. I don't have things that have buttons on them. I don't know.
Sure. I'm a businessman.
You are. Father.
Every now and then I have to wear a polo.
Yeah.
And I only did it today because my T-shirts were dirty. So I wore the polo.
Yeah. And,
And
know,
I
a
knew
lot
I
of
was
business
coming on
owners
here
are
to-
worried about their polo being top button and with a backwards hat.
Hey, check it out. Check out my new Jordan.
Oh, look
Nice.
at you. You don't have on the ultimate dad shoe that you typically wear. Those
Hey,
are
these
nice.
these are actually Jordan 1 golf shoes.
Okay.
Right? Not bad.
You going golfing later?
No, but you can wear them just kicking around. And I'm breaking them in. Just got them.
Yeah, the leather looks real hard on those shoes.
So I
right
watched
now.
the Air Jordan movie.
How was it?
It's
Air?
incredible.
It was
great.
good? Okay.
Have you
All
seen
right.
it?
Not yet. Not yet.
Dude, it's good.
Not yet.
Surprisingly, really.
I think the reviews were, obviously through the roof.
I enjoyed it.
No pun intended.
So after I watched it, I went and bought a pair of Jordans. Realized I had never.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the movie got you.
It got me. Good. No, good.
You're probably the only person to watch that go buy their first pair of Jordans and it'd be golf shoes, but
Well, I was like, I was looking at the Jordans and I was like, because there's a professional golfer, Harold Varner, who wears Jordan golf shoes.
okay.
And I was like, I'm just going to go get
I thought
some. Why
Nike
not?
got completely out of golf.
They're out of the golf clubs. They're not out of golf apparel.
Okay, so they still have polos and hats.
Yeah,
and,
they still do all the golf apparel. They just
like in Major League, they got uniforms and everything.
Yeah, they just decided to cut they always ran a little bit behind, obviously, in the technology. They were like a new golf club, and they were trying to, beat Titleist and Ping and all like the big boys in the golf club industry. But great story. I still play a whole set of Nike clubs.
Is it from your Nike contract when you were a player?
So when I decided to retire from football, or when I was getting close, I called my Nike rep and I was like, look, I've went to a Nike school. I've been a Nike athlete for 8 years. I want to go to the time they call it the Nike oven, which was in Fort Worth, which is where all the professional Nike players went to go get fitted, and they did all that. So I said, yeah, let's go. And they set an appointment. We flew out to Fort Worth, and I spent a day at the oven getting custom fitted for these clubs. And yeah, I had my Nike, did it all under the Nike contract stuff. Those Nike bucks. I saved up like all year to have the Nike dollars. And yeah, I got my clubs sent to me, and then like a week after I received my clubs, they made the announcement they're quitting the golf club game.
But you still swing them.
Yeah. I do.
Okay.
So I might have the last set of custom Nike golf clubs ever made.
Yeah.
They're great clubs. They had finally kind of caught up to everybody else from technology. And so the clubs are actually really good. Everyone makes fun of me.
Just because you have Nike clubs.
Because they're out of the game. Like, I don't know.
I mean, the golf. I don't understand the golfing world at all. Not at all.
Nike clubs, bro.
I mean, why? Okay, my Nike contract, same situation. Like I was living in San Diego, everybody wants to play golf. I'm like, okay. So like I'm an awful golfer, but I had Nike Victory Reds.
Yep.
Felt like I was cool at that
big deal.
time. I was like 2010.
Yep. My wife has a pair of brand new clubs if she ever decides to play. Ready, they're there waiting for her.
I want to go back
I even
to
bought a couple of like kid sets when I had, because I was still playing when Huck was a couple months old.
I still want to go back to the people making fun of you for having Nike clubs.
That's it. Making fun's probably a strong word, but it's
Okay.
it's always a point of conversation when they're like, Nike clubs.
Yeah.
Who hits those?
Just the golf world is not something I understand.
Uh-huh.
I don't get it. Now I didn't grow up around a country club anywhere close, and so maybe that's what it is. But just feel like there's so much extra that goes into just going to play around the golf.
Well, that's what makes it cool, right?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. I don't live in that world.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's all these golf clubs are coming out with new technology and new looks, new this, new that. You got to have the latest and greatest.
It feels very expensive.
You know, it kind of feels like, someone that you see walking around with like an iPhone 4 or something like that. Did I nail it?
No, I don't like that.
Did I nail it?
No, I mean, sure.
Then I just go kick their butts with them.
I mean, you've had an iPhone since iPhones were a thing. I mean, you used to wear it on a belt clip to let everybody know that you had the iPhone
No, I
on.
never put an iPhone on a belt clip.
Matthew Clayton
I
Flynn.
put it was the, man, I don't even know what it's called. It was before the iPhone.
1,000% used to have a clip. I remember it on LSU, like warm-ups, like a windsuit, and you would have that big clip with an iPhone, which the iPhone 1 at that time was big. Now it'd be tiny, and you had it on.
I don't think no.
We will call Richard Dixon.
I know
to
the phone that you're
this.
talking. I had a phone on a clip. I want to say it was like a BlackBerry or something like that.
Oh, that was the Microsoft phone. We both had that.
Oh yeah, the one that flipped. You flipped it, and the keyboard appeared underneath the screen.
Yeah,
yeah. I put that on a clip.
Okay, well,
flip that up.
I'm pretty sure I know exactly.
And then
what
the
I'm talking about.
Nokia I had at the end of high school, like the first cell phone I had was like the second version of the Nokia phones. Like the first one was like the big, like the banana phone, like the big Nokia. Then they came out with those little tiny ones that was red, blue, and gray. You could choose. I got the red one, no big deal. Put that one on a clip, case and a clip. Clip the hell out of that thing.
I will find a picture before we get out of here today with you and the original iPhone on a belt clip. Guaranteed.
It was my way of maybe doing like, remember when the front tuck was cool?
Yeah, no, it was a fashion statement. It's okay. I'm not hating on you.
It was my way of not front tucking, but just kind of need to throw your shirt over your clip.
Yeah, you had
Check
it.
out my
And
Nokia.
I can't see my phone, but I can feel my watch. I feel like there's somebody listening that was on our team that is going to back me up here.
I just don't remember having an iPhone on a clip.
Yeah.
Did they even have that technology?
Yes.
The case companies?
I'm pretty sure that it was OtterBox.
I had some OtterBoxes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had a clip.
I know. How have we gone this long in flestering without talking about the Titanic tourist submarine?
Dude.
Apparently there is news there.
That's sad.
Banging heard in search for missing Titanic submarine with less than 24 hours of oxygen left is the latest, and that was from a couple of
wait. So
couple
they're
of minutes
hearing.
ago. So apparently
banging
there's
with,
a
like,
Canadian
sonar
aircraft that is over the Atlantic looking for them, rescue mission.
Wait, aircraft's hearing banging?
That's what. Look, I don't know. That's what this article says. Okay.
This doesn't sound promising.
It says a Canadian aircraft searching for the sub in the Atlantic Ocean detected intermittent banging noises from the submarine of its last known location.
Yeah, that's a bad situation.
Just,
like, you know, when like the cruise ships, they break down. Like, I always think that is like my nightmare, like being stuck
in the middle of the ocean on a huge cruise ship.
The toilet's not working with
Yeah.
all those people running out. Like, I always thought that was my nightmare, and it's like stopped me from ever thinking about going on a cruise again once those stories started coming out. But can you imagine those people are dealing with?
Yeah, that's awful. But there's also a lot of criticism kind of for these people because they paid a lot of money for this very sketchy looking trip. Apparently, the submarine was being controlled by a controller that was made in 2000.
That
was made in 2005.
It had retail value of like $29. It's like an old Xbox controller.
Yeah, Logitech. Yeah,
it's like a PlayStation. It looks like a PlayStation controller,
like an old school one,
and
not the new PlayStation.
It looks like it's a terrible situation, but it looks like a plastic submarine.
Yeah.
Well, and if y'all have seen the reports, it was like they were like, "Oh, the weather's not ideal for us to do this. We're not sure if the submarine's going to handle it, but we paid all this money, so we're going anyways," type of thing. So there was like a lot of red flags that were told them like not to go down there, and they did it anyways.
Yikes.
And they paid $250,000 to do it.
What? I mean, bud, $250,000 to do that. One, if you are spending $250,000, you obviously have a lot of money, and it's a large sum. But what does that mean to you? And if you're telling me that, hey, you don't need to go down there, I don't need to go down. There's a couple of things in this world that are undefeated. The ocean is certainly one of them.
Yeah, the ocean's strong.
It's the strongest, literally.
I mean, have you seen the pictures of the submarine?
I'm just now seeing a lot of this, and
like if
the only reason I've heard about it, and then Dev got into the chat earlier and was talking about hearing the banging coming from a certain area.
Hey, do we know how deep the Titanic is?
We could look it up.
I think I saw this. I think it said it was like
12,500 feet.
Yeah, they were going down like
12,000 feet.
Yeah,
in a man. I like to keep my feet on the ground as much as possible. I get seasick just going deep sea fishing. Take me a mile offshore.
Yeah,
puke.
So
nope. Not going 12,000 feet underneath.
Yeah, so Dr. Bankson has been trying to get us to have like an 03-07 national championship fishing trip, and
we'd lose.
We're done.
Get crushed.
Yeah, we both get seasick. It's not
12
good.
minutes.
It's not great. 12. What are you gonna do with the other 10? 2 minutes in, I'm done.
Listen to this, dude. So my wife and I both get seasick.
Yeah.
And so, but we keep trying. It's like, man, it's not rough seas. We're gonna keep moving. Blah blah blah. Like because the thought, we love fishing. We love being outside. We love doing. So the thought, everything that is involved with going offshore fishing, is like right up our alley, except for the puke. And so we keep trying. And the last time we tried, we decided to give up completely. We went out. We were multiple miles off, and the boat broke down. So I had to wait like 8 hours bobbing like a cork for like the tugboat to come get us.
How bad was it?
Oh, it was brutal. You just curl up in the fetal position. You just close your eyes and you just hope for the best.
How long ago was that?
That was it was probably 5 years ago.
Have you gone back in the water since?
I've gone back in the water, yes. And they're like, yeah, just jump in the water, then you won't be seasick anymore. Nope. Sorry. Take my chances with a puke rather than some.
Yeah. Where is this? Is this in the Gulf?
This was in the Gulf.
Yeah. Off the Florida Panhandle.
It was off Pensacola.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah, it's bad.
But
to bring it back, I would rather be there than on that submarine. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, because you're somewhat feet on the ground because you're on a boat.
Yeah.
That's still above water.
So have they talked to? I'm assuming the submarine had been in business for a little while. This wasn't like the inaugural dive.
I don't know, because if it is the first time, and then the Titanic was his first sail, and that's what they're going to find. I mean, that'd be oof.
I think this guy was in what do you think is insurance?
All right,
this got to be expensive, right?
All right, we'll look up more information.
Hey, did y'all see the video? I don't know if this is new, but it was another submarine story of the Coast Guard jumping on top of a submarine that was bringing in cocaine, in like $230 million worth of cocaine.
I did not see it.
It's unbelievable.
A submarine?
A submarine, and I guess the submarines that are bringing in drugs, because there's like drug submarines out there, right? And I think they hover like right on top of the ocean. I don't think they dive that far.
Yeah.
And so like these Coast Guard boats surround it, and I don't know if the guy knows. I don't know if the guy can see anything that's in the submarine, but it's like a one-man submarine, and he's got $230 million worth of cocaine on the streets, right?
Oh man.
And so they dive, and like these guys jump on top with their guns and stuff and start banging on the door, lift the door up. It's incredible.
I mean,
oh, there it is. Look at that.
Oh my!
That was in a submarine. Can we find the video? We got to find this.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do this because we're late. We will take a break. We'll find that video. More flustering when we come back here on OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go to allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. If you're buying new, if you're leasing, if you are renting, they are the place to go. If you maybe you have a business trip, maybe you're trying to sling My High in the Houston or Dallas area, and you're like, hey, I need something bigger. I need a Tundra, a Tacoma to be able to carry all of this My High to its location, drinkmyhigh.com. Then you just go rent a Toyota, and you just make sure that you keep the miles off your car. You have something that is big enough to handle the job that you have in front of you, and they will certainly have that. It can be a Sienna minivan. It can be a Sequoia 4Runner. Everything is available in that rental process. It doesn't have to be a work trip. It can be a vacation as well. If you're going down to the beach, if you're going to the mountains and you've got some extra luggage, some extra gear, whatever it might be, well, they're going to be able to help you out there. But certainly you can buy new. Check out that customizable feature there on the website, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Get 3.99% financing at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch, Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind. When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly...
Jimmy Hot, Charles Hanagriff for the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're live in Omaha at Ameristar at their sportsbook, brought to you by United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. It's Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. from Omaha Wednesday on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't shine no more.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We are continuing with the flestering.
Hey, a little update on our cocaine sub.
Oh, okay. I didn't even.
The video I was talking about, apparently a little bit old, like 4 years old or so. It's just getting recirculated again. That's how I saw it, just because of all the submarine action. But we did find a recent one from like 4 days ago.
Yeah, the picture I pulled up, the one you're talking about was $312 million worth of cocaine. The one from 5 days ago, June 17th, which is when that picture was taken, $186 million. It's apparently like a thing. They call them narco subs. There's like a ton of them.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How many narcos? Can you imagine being like the captain?
Like I was just about to ask, like, is the captain situation someone you trust, or does he draw the shortest straw?
I would think that those.
Because I would assume like getting caught. I don't know the percentage, but I gotta imagine it's higher than you would want to be.
I don't
as
think
the
there's.
captain.
Yeah, I don't think there's much navigation happening on these things. I think they just kind of like point that in a direction and push the go button, and somebody's just got to sit there and just ride it. I guess. I don't know. I don't know if there's much nautical navigation happening in that cabin. I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe there's sonar technology, but I'm pretty sure that those subs can't dive.
I was about to say, I bet it's bare minimum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's probably a metal box.
Yeah. That has like
a little trolling motor on it.
The same one we have like on a little P-row boat.
Or maybe we're underestimating the cartel.
I mean, I don't know if I mean, because $100 and whatever million, like, you're pot committed.
Yeah, you got to think if
you know what I'm saying?
if you launch like 20 of those things at the same time, a couple getting through.
Yeah.
Their cost of goods are probably real low. They can afford a couple getting busted.
If I can afford $180 million of my product going missing and just being like, they got us this time, I'm, you're doing some things right in that game.
Yeah.
Because if you had $180 million of my high go missing, we're belly up.
Belly up. Someone's in trouble. I don't think I'll be transporting my high in submarines.
But it'd be really cool if you did.
Cool, right?
Because
if
if they stopped you, it would get headlines.
Hydration.
But it's just hydration.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And then they would test it.
Yeah.
They test it, but okay, really hydration.
Yeah, right.
And they would test it. They would see the numbers and how much it does hydrate you, and then that would become news. And then everything's positive for you.
So we get a submarine, fill it with my high. Send it out in the ocean.
Yeah.
Towards America.
Yeah.
And then we feed the police information that there's a drug.
Yeah. We tip them off. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tip them off that some
Who's driving the sub? I nominate Big Fave.
Big Fave?
Yeah.
Just randomly?
Yeah. No, he's texting us.
Oh, yeah.
He was texting us during that.
Dude,
hello, somebody.
Yeah. He would handle it perfectly. Like when they knocked on the door thinking it was drugs. Hello, somebody.
Hello, somebody.
We
What's
just
up?
keeping y'all hydrated.
Y'all thirsty?
Yes.
Yes.
I think Big Face should be the driver of the sub.
That's a good idea.
Straight out the West Bank.
Yeah. And there's not a situation he can't handle.
Let's do it.
I'm just out here. Is that a free idea? Do I get
marketing genius?
I know.
Coming out.
Thank you. You can hire me. I'm
All
available. I got enough jobs. I'll add one more. Got a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah,
about to have
dude,
one
I know.
hopefully any day now. Adding to the roster.
How are we doing?
Ready?
Katie, okay?
We're ready.
She's ready.
We're ready.
I bet.
We are ready.
Uh-huh.
Again.
She got into like the mad stage at it now. Like, let's go. It's time.
Like, what are you doing in there?
Yeah.
Is it that comfortable? I'll make it uncomfortable. I think the other day she was like, am I making this too comfortable? Like, what if I sit up a little bit and just, make it
Hop
where it's
around a
just
little
not
bit.
very comfortable.
Hop on one
in there.
foot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it is funny, like, a lot of people send us like, well, look, do this and it'll get the baby. And, even people that have one child, like, hey, do this. That's what got, like, y'all, it's number 5 for us. You don't think we know all those things? You don't think we know all the tricks? You don't think we know all the things that they tell you to do and the old wives' tales? Like, we know. We've been
got
here.
it.
Yeah. We have practice,
5-timers club.
Yeah. Like, and when your mentor is Phillip Rivers, like, who knows? Who knows where it ends up?
Yeah. If I'm going to ask anybody, it's not going to be you, bud. I'm going to ask Phillip.
That's true. He's got 9.
That's how many I have times 3.
That's how math works.
Multiplication.
That is how math works. They teach you that at Tyler Lee. Oh, it's not Tyler Lee anymore. What is it?
Yeah, can't say that, bud.
I know. What is it?
It's,
well, I can say it because that's where you went to school, but I know the name. Is it Liberty or
Legacy?
Trinity? Legacy. Tyler Legacy or just Legacy?
I think Tyler Legacy.
You know.
Well, it wasn't ever officially Tyler Lee.
I know, but in Texas, y'all like to.
We like to say.
Y'all like to say the city name followed by school. Shreveport of Angel when you talk about
Legacy High School, but everyone calls it Tyler Legacy.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you probably did it because there were so many. Well, I don't know, because was there a lot of John Tylers? Because it was always Tyler, John Tyler.
Yeah.
Is that still a school?
Like inside of Tyler, we would just say John Tyler. But like when you're talking in conversation to somebody about them or about their team, you would say Tyler, John Tyler. That's a little redundant.
Is it still a school?
Yeah, that's they are, I believe, just Tyler High. Tyler High School.
So they've taken it out too.
They took it out. They took John Tyler. Yeah.
Full disclosure, I have no idea who John Tyler is.
I think he was a president, right?
No.
I don't think
I know he wasn't a president, right?
President of something.
All right. Well, just like we do oftentimes, we say things here during flestering that we don't actually have.
You're right. He's the 10th U.S. president.
There you go.
I told you, dude.
Yeah, you said it. You said it with confidence, too. I should have believed you.
That is not a president I remembered, honestly.
Me neither. Should have gone through the song in my head.
Who's 9? Remember that one?
I know the first 4. That's it.
If he would have been able to like throw 9 out there,
Let's go with 20.
That'd been really good. Okay, so why'd they change? Okay, well, let's don't talk. Let's don't get ourselves in trouble. Let's research. Let's find out exactly why. We'll take our last break.
I'm not here to answer all of life's questions, buddy. Just stating facts.
You're here to answer questions, though. Well, not life's questions.
Not all of them, though.
Okay, that's fair enough. We'll take the last break of flestering, and who knows what Matt will talk about in his final 5 minutes here. Stick around and find out. OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
By the way, Matt, someone else says that they still use Nike clubs, but it's because they got them for free as well. So if they're free, they're me, and that is what the Nike club is. You should be a part of the AgTemp of BR.com club, AgTemp of Baton Rouge, and that is that star membership that we tell you about all the time because it's hotter than hot. It is Nick Saban hot here in Baton Rouge, and Matt Flynn knows exactly what that means, okay? So with that being said, what do you not want to go out on you? Your air conditioner. Because if it does, my oh my, you are in some trouble. So make sure that your equipment is ready to go this summer, that it's working at its peak performance, because the last thing you want is for it to go out on you. So when you're part of that star membership, they're going to come out a couple of different times a year. They're going to remind you, hey, it's time for us to come look at your system. You get fantastic customer service. Read the online reviews. That's why they have 5s everywhere. 5 stars everywhere you look with AgTemp, AgTempBR.com, AgTempBR.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Oshner Health. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
So join me for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Transfer pitcher Justin Lohr joins the show, and so does Kris Demouy. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back in OTB. One more segment here with Matthew Clayton Flynn. Are we hitting the road tomorrow? Are we?
We're hitting the road, yeah. We're going to Friendswood.
Okay.
Known for their friendships.
Where's that at?
It's in the Houston area, the greater Houston.
So you're going to the Houston area portion.
Mostly because I can drive there. I've been to Dallas a couple times.
Okay.
But yeah, mostly there to drive.
I mean, so you have someone that's going to the Dallas. I mean, you got Alvin up there slinging my high going from Tyler to Dallas.
I had my mom up there a couple times.
Yeah, well.
In Dallas. Well, I mean, it's an easy drive for them.
I know it's what, hour and some change, maybe? No.
Yeah, hour and 45 probably, depending on where you're going.
Okay.
Yeah, so mostly I'm going to Houston. Again, we're going to be at the Sam's Club.
In
Friendswood. It might be called like Webster or something like that. It's in that area.
So you're just driving, and once you get to where you think.
Once I get to like, I'm pretty close, then I look up the address.
All right. And what are y'all doing there? Like rolling it out, right? So if you're in the Houston area.
We're rolling out my Heinz Sam's Club in the Houston and Dallas area.
Right.
So I'm kind of hands-on just to make sure it goes smooth and goes well.
All right. So if you're listening to us in North Louisiana, drive over to Dallas.
Yeah.
If you're listening to us here in South Louisiana, drive over to Houston and go pick up the My High. Obviously, LSU, big alumni base there in Houston. So if you're listening to us on YouTube or on demand or however you take in the show, go by and support Matt Flynn and My High and be hydrated.
Yeah, we're going to be at Keller in Dallas area.
Oh, I know one of my old high school football coaches. His name's Tommy.
I don't know where Keller is.
Well, his name's Tommy Keller, and he coaches at Keller.
He's the namesake.
Basically.
Nice. Good for him.
Yeah. So it's a great
That's
area.
Where we'll be, yeah.
Okay. I know people in Keller, so I'm going to make them go by My High.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not make them. Like, you should want to go by My High.
No, you should make them.
Okay. I am forcing you. But if you can't get to one of those locations, drinkmyhigh.com.
Hey, can you tell what you were telling us at the break about the submarine?
I mean, I'm trying to sling your product, and you're worried about the submarine.
No, yeah, it's bad. It has one button, and it's only like kind of an elevator. You can't go in and out. It was never officially approved by like the marine company. They asked it to be submitted for like inspection and everything. They never did it.
And it's been twice, right?
Yeah, so it's been down twice, but it's never been like officially approved.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also cannot open it from the inside. It has to be opened from the outside.
And there's one button. It's
And
just like
there-
an on-off button.
and there's 5 people that each gave $250,000, and that's what that gets you?
Yep.
A plastic vessel with, well, I'm not, I say plastic 'cause it looks like it from the picture. One button and a PlayStation remote.
Okay,
Unbelievable.
like
I hope they find him. Good Lord. That's
No sonar and GPS on it either.
what?
Nope.
praying for him.
That is oof. That's brutal.
GPS.
It's not good.
Is there a window?
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bone.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down the
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch, on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, I'm happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvell Toyota and choose your new Toyota today. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go? Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Wednesday, June 21st. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 95. Coming up on OTBOT, we talk to Kris Budden coming up next, and Charles Hanagriff joins the show at 9:30 from Omaha. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. OTBOT, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 3 of OTB here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I'm very excited for our next guest. You can catch her, well, literally everywhere. ESPN, you can catch her on SiriusXM. She's with me every Thursday on Off Campus, also on College Sports Today. You can watch her on Squeeze Play, and you can also watch her in the dugout there in Omaha covering the College World Series. Of course, I'm talking about Kris Budden. KB, what's going on? It's been so long because you've been covering all these tournaments since we've had a chance to talk on the radio.
I know, it's been a minute. Yeah, we're on today's day 8 in Omaha. Myself and the rest of the LSU fan base and team, because we're staying in the same hotel.
Oh, well, so it's been quiet, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it's a party starting at 7 a.m. They also have live music at this hotel all day long. So The other day I tweeted out that I was on my way to a meeting. I get some Starbucks, and I passed an LSU fan who's having a dirty martini at 8:30 in the morning. And, of course, the response to that was, why so late? What's with the late wake-up? 8:30 a.m., let's go.
Yeah, that's as you know, that's how we kind of do things around here. Day 8 of Omaha, and you and I have talked about this before, but, like, do you even know what day of the week it is right now? Like, how is that staying in one location? Because you're typically, KB, you're always on the move. You're going from city to city covering different events, or you're going up to Bristol. But being there for that many days in a row, do we even know what day of the week it is?
Today I do, only because we might know if the championship is set after today. Like yesterday, struggled. Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, who's played before. The hard part also with this is we also have meetings in the morning with coaches, so it's an all-day affair. And even though we do the night games, like, you got to watch the day games, figure out what happened. So there does become a little bit of not knowing what day or what game you've covered by the time you get to Wednesday.
All right, let's talk about some of the matchups that we have seen. LSU, beats Tennessee out of the gates, and then they play the game that we've all been waiting for against Wake Forest in very close game. There was a play here or there that was not made for LSU. Wake Forest ends up making the play, but then you're facing Tennessee. And KB, you and I have talked about Tennessee being set up for success in this kind of format, along with Wake Forest, because they were going to have arms available that most teams just were not going to have. And LSU was one of those teams. I mean, Nate Ackenhausen goes out there. He's a reliever. He's been a reliever all year long. And you think you're, hopefully going to get 3 innings out of him, but he gives you 6 innings and, dominates the game, strikes out 7, doesn't walk anybody, doesn't give up a run. And it was going to take that kind of performance for LSU to move on and continue being in Omaha, but they got it.
Yeah, I think that this is what has to happen if you're going to come out of the loser's bracket. You have to have someone that becomes a star. I mean, not only does he give you 6 innings yesterday and a phenomenal performance, he saved a lot of that bullpen that can be used today. I think if you ask Jay Johnson truthfully, he would say, I expected to get 3 innings, 9 outs out of the guy, and he gave you a lot more. Funny story, I was on the elevator because we're staying with this. And the coaching staff, I said, are you going to let them sleep in tonight? And they said, yeah, well, it worked out pretty good yesterday. What do you mean? That Jay Johnson texted Ackenhausen at 8:30 in the morning, and Nate slept until 11, didn't get the message. Jay's sitting there for 2.5 hours just waiting for a reply from his starter. And, 11:06, Nate's like, yep, good to go, coach. So, that's what it takes. Listen, on paper, that should have been Tennessee's game. They just could not string any hits together about Ackenhausen. Here's the other deal. That ballpark, not only is it tough wind-wise, like you saw Cruz crush a ball and Tommy White crush a ball, and they didn't leave. The ballpark has played a lot differently the last 2 days with the wind blowing in. It's also the shadows. Like, that's massive advantage pitcher to start that game. And that's part of why Jay went with Ackenhausen. He told me was his deception plus dealing with the shadows. That, maybe whoever starts today, if it's, who knows, we don't know yet, Guidry or whoever, can get you through 4 innings because, that's such a massive advantage on the mound with the way the shadows fall.
Yeah, I'm fascinated with who starts today for LSU. Is it Coleman? Is it Guidry? Is it Blake Money? I mean, do you say, hey, 3 days rest Paul Skeens? I don't think that you do,
No.
but I definitely think that, it could be an option at some point in the game to see him. But, KB, this covering Omaha like you do every single year. You still got another game if you win. And so you can't you got to win this one to get to that one, I understand. But you also, at some point, you got to have that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, which is why, I understand why you throw Riley Cooper yesterday, but I also thought, could you get away with not using him? Maybe they thought that Tennessee's bats, eventually they would, string some hits together. Because ideally you want Riley Cooper starting today, get you through one pitch so far. So, he can give you length if he can get out. I don't think we see Skeens today. Tomorrow would be technically big league rest. I don't know what the shortest rest that he's been on so far this season. I doubt that it's anything under 5 games. The other thing is, I'm trying to think, would this be a bullpen day for Ty Floyd? He pitched 2 days ago?
Yeah.
3 days ago. This is where the math starts being hard. A lot of these guys have bullpen days where they'll throw 30 pitches anyway, so maybe you can get a couple outs. I don't think we see Skeens until tomorrow, even if we see him tomorrow. And that's the weird thing about this tournament, right? We're crowning a national champion, and you might not see the best pitcher in the country pitch, even if they do make it to the Champ Series.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you obviously, when you format your team, you're trying to put the best possible team you can together. But once you get to this point, it's all about, okay, this works best with this format. And a lot of it has to do with arms more than it does what you do at the plate. And that's what, made LSU beating Tennessee so impressive. It's what makes Wake Forest look like the best team out there, is because of who they have available as far as arms. But, Tennessee was a team that felt like they were going to be comfortable in that situation. And KB, you lived in Knoxville for a little bit. You covered Tennessee, a couple of years back. Obviously, you know this program, you know the coach, and you kind of know where it was to where it is now. And I'm a little surprised to see people be this disappointed. Yes, I understand last year, the regular season, what you did, and you thought you were going to not only be in Omaha, but win the College World Series. You don't get there. And then this year, this is 2 out of 3 years that you've been in Omaha. You won a game. That is a step that you have not gotten to yet in Omaha. So, this baseball program, to me, I know you're disappointed, but it still leaps and bounds ahead of where it was just 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think you're disappointed because you had the advantage. And it's a shame that, Dollander wasn't able to, stretch them out further. Maybe you could have seen Burns yesterday come in after Beam. I also think that the frustration is there was just errors, on the base pass, on the I go back to what was the first, second inning, and they decide, not to let Ahuna run and go home, and they hold him up at third. Is that a monumental moment in the game? They bring in a pitcher to get a ground, double play ground out, and then they can only get 1 out of it. Those are the things that hurt them defensively throughout the year, and it showed up yesterday. I think that's part of the disappointment, is because you technically, pitching-wise, outmatched LSU. But it's also a fan base that has really high expectations. I will say this, this team was better than last year's team. Talent-wise, on paper, who you had. Last year, they just made an incredible run up until the Supers, and so the way that ended, not getting to Omaha, being the number 1 seed, was heartbreaking. This year, you had the talent, and you had been through the adversity. To me, I thought this was the team of destiny. They just, they didn't play their best game on the biggest stage last night.
Catching up with Kris Budden, ESPN. They're covering Omaha. KB, I've got to ask you about some of the teams that you've seen, and you've been there now. You mentioned 8 days. Like, has any of the teams like separated themselves in your eyes as far as, okay, like this is the team to beat? Because all of these games have been so close and they've been so competitive. Like, we haven't seen really anybody go out there and dominate a game. And so, like, who would you, I guess, even give the advantage to with the way that Omaha's playing this year?
Yeah, I mean, we've been so blessed with such good games until yesterday. And the first game, was kind of a clunker. Yesterday had its moments. I mean, Tennessee had moments to come back. I think if you look at the score, you think it was a bigger beatdown than it was. I mean, man, Wake Forest is good.
Yeah.
Wake Forest is really good, and they have a boatload of arms. Tonight, I'm assuming they'll throw Seth Keener. They'll have Sean Sullivan available. So it is a massive uphill battle for LSU to come out of this, especially having a throw game tomorrow. They're really good. And my concern was, how would they handle the moment? Their guys have been here. It's been since 1995. That's well documented. It is a team that just has fun. They're incredibly loose. They celebrate everything. I go back to Bennett Lee the other day, the catcher who made the incredible play at the top of the eighth, and then he gets up there, bottom of the eighth, and a chance to drive in a run, and he goes up to their third base coach, and he called the timeout, and there's this great video of them. They're just laughing, and he apparently goes, "Coach, I'm shaking in my boots. Like, I just needed a moment." And he told me after the game, he was like, he's like a father figure to me, and I just needed a breather. So I just think that this team's very well, like talent-wise, leadership-wise, built to win a championship. And we'll see what happens on the other side of the draw today, right? Because I expect there to be a game 7 or an if necessary game on Thursday, because I just don't know what we're going to get out of Jack Caglione tonight.
Look, KB, I'm trying to work in the afternoons, and if we have a situation where TCU wins and LSU wins, there's another day that I don't get to do afternoon radio. So I want to see more baseball, but I got to try to get these shifts in as well.
Don't you also have to go to hospital sometime soon?
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to miss time there too. Like any day now. Like I'm surprised it's not already happened. So I'm just trying to get some work in, KB.
I know. It's funny because our crew, if there's a game on Thursday, if there's one game, our crew does it. And people are like, "Don't you want a day off?" And I'm like, "Well, I already have Friday off. I'm going to be here. I might as well work."
I'm the same situation. Like if it goes where we have, the if necessary games, then I'm not going to get a chance to work on SiriusXM tomorrow. But if we don't, so look, I understand it.
Plus, my dad's coming up. My dad's coming up tomorrow afternoon. And so I'm like, well, if he's going to be here, we might as well give him an extra game to come to.
Hey, didn't you say your dad came for the first time maybe last year, and now he said, hey, I'm coming every year?
Yeah, he came with a buddy last year. And I think last year they came Monday through Thursday. And so this year he said, I was so mad that I had to leave for the Champ Series. This year I'm staying for the Champ Series. So he's coming up Thursday, and he'll stay till Sunday night. We did have a panic moment because a couple of days ago he texted me and he says, "I'm flying into Des Moines, right?" No, flying into Omaha.
Yeah.
I think the Omaha airport is technically in Iowa, but you're flying into Omaha.
Okay.
So yeah, he'll get here tomorrow and stay through Sunday night through that game, because that'll be a day game.
Yeah, and if it's anything like we've already had in Omaha, it will be a fantastic championship series. And obviously here we hope LSU is involved in that championship series. Hey, why not have an all-SEC LSU versus Florida if we can have?
Hey, that's how I predicted it. We all fill out brackets, and I put LSU Florida. We'll see if it happens.
And it still has an opportunity to be that way. KB, we can't thank you enough. I know you are grinding there in Omaha. Still, you're about halfway through, so still some more baseball to cover, but we appreciate you coming on, and hopefully here soon we'll get a chance to do our Thursday spot together over on Channel 84.
Hopefully next week, as long as you're not taking care of a newborn.
That is very true, which will probably be happening. So sooner or later, we'll get a chance to do it.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, appreciate it. There she is, Kris Budden, SiriusXM, ESPN, covering every game there in Omaha. It feels like every sporting event, as Taylor said during the break there for Kris Budden. All right, we still have Hanagriff set to join us. He is in Omaha, obviously, at 9:30. Like we asked him if he wanted to come on at 7:30, but to no one's surprise, Hanny's like, I think I'll do 9:30. So we have Hanny coming up at 9:30. I think T-Bob said he wants to come on and give some thoughts and some takes here coming up in the next segment. We'll see if that still holds true, but we've got a lot still to come here on OTB.
OTB, OT. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. The cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clashing, chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like it's Wall Street.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We're recapping LSU, Tennessee from the College World Series and getting you set for Wednesday's action. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
just wanna use your love tonight. I don't wanna lose your love tonight. I ain't got many friends that
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
All right, welcome back into OTB. We've got Hanny joining us from Omaha in about 10 minutes from now. I am sure the Yacht Father and Hanny are having a hell of a time there in Omaha. Obviously, right there, you go up to Iowa and they've got the sports book ready to go. So I'm sure they are having the time of their life like they always do in Omaha. It's almost a trip that has to happen, needs to happen every single year. So excited to catch up with Hanny, certainly off an LSU victory in which they were the underdog. And we talked about it, yesterday. This is not a position that team has really been in a lot of times this year. I mean, you could count it on one hand how many times they've been a betting underdog in a matchup. But they are going to be that again tonight against Wake Forest. And here is Jay Johnson in that rematch against Wake Forest. Maybe.
I saw this side of the bracket, and all 8 teams here are amazing. I said that before the tournament. Of the 3 times I've been here, this is the best field. There's the most good players and good pitchers of the times I've been in the College World Series. They are certainly part of that. I thought Hartle threw an outstanding game. I thought their pen was good. They have more guys that they can go to. Offense, they have their way, and they do their thing really, really well. So. Wouldn't want to be playing anybody else. I feel like the 4 best teams in the country are the 4 best teams still playing in Omaha right now.
It's certainly 3 of the 4. Now, TCU is a really good team, and they have certainly been hot in the postseason. They deserve to be there, but you have Florida with the 2 next to their name. You have Wake Forest with a 1 next to their name. LSU has a 5, but LSU and Wake Forest, we've laid it out 1,000 times. Here's 1,001. The only 2 teams that have been number 1 teams in the country this year. So you have a field, and I agree with Jay, that's very difficult. Like, you have the who's who there in Omaha. Like TCU, again, maybe the only surprise, but Florida, LSU, Wake Forest, you felt like all season long those were going to be teams that were going to be there. And you always knew it was going to be Wake Forest if you're LSU. You always knew this was going to happen. It doesn't matter what radio show I'm on, hosting, guests, whatever, and you could go back into the middle of March. We knew this was going to happen. You felt like these 2 teams, now you didn't know if it was going to be in the championship series or if it was going to be in the same side of Omaha, but you knew these 2 teams were going to meet each other. Right? Wake Forest has not lost a game in the postseason. LSU's only lost 1 game. It was to Wake Forest, and we know what kind of game that was. And so this one is going to be best on best. Now, the best is who you have left as well. And we just had Hunt in here, and of course we're talking starting pitching. Who's going to get the ball for LSU? You've got Coleman. You've got Guidry. You've got Blake Money. You've got Herring. You have 4 arms still available. And also, it's win or go home. So how crazy do you get? Like, who is available? Like, break glass if necessary, hit the panic emergency button because of the situation. Who is that? We don't know who that's going to be because you still have to have pitching to beat Wake Forest again if you beat them tonight. So it's going to be very interesting how they format who exactly is going to pitch. And last night did you every favor imaginable. You had 2 pitchers. I thought it was going to be 4. And in fact, if you'd have said LSU had to use 6 pitchers to get the win yesterday when we were doing this show, I'd say, okay, that's about right. But certainly you're going to have to use 4. I mean, I said, hey, here's who you had to use. Nobody's going to go 5 innings. Well, I was dead wrong. I mean, you had Ackenhausen go 6 innings. Didn't give up a run. So that helped you in every way possible. So now you have these 4 arms available. And again, kind of going back to it, like who are you going to say, you know what, 3-day rest, can you give us 1? 2-day rest, I don't really know. It's a bullpen day. What can you give us anything? We don't know. Because, again, you still have another game that you have to play. And not to say that you're saving anything, but obviously you got to be smart about it as well with their health and how you're going to play these games. And so Coleman feels like someone that's going to get the first opportunity tonight. We will see. We've talked about it. Blake Money is somebody that has certainly had starting experience. He was a Friday night guy to start last season. We saw him pitching big moments in Houston in the tournament last year. right there in the regular season. He's only had a handful of starts this year, but he still has starting experience. And if the ballpark is playing like it played last night, right, that takes away one of the things that Blake Money's had trouble with, which is giving up the long ball. So there's, 100 different ways that LSU could put this together, but obviously in Jay we trust because he is, giving us every reason to trust him. And then when you start to look maybe at the offense, and there was a couple of shakeups in the lineup yesterday, here is Jay on how the offense is kind of getting ready for this contest.
I thought they kept with it. I didn't feel like we got discouraged. I didn't feel like we stopped competing, and that was just enough. That second run was big where we got the leadoff double by Trey. Gavin laid down a nice drag to move him over, and they threw it away. It gave us a little bit of breathing room. Then we strung together some good at-bats. Again, that's off Seth Halverson, who's throwing 100 miles an hour. You're not going to score 10 in this environment. And so I'm proud of the way we kind of grinded it out, and then the two pitchers did a great job to make that just enough.
And it was a grind. We laid it out in the first segment of the show. Dylan Cruz had 2 hits. Trey Morgan had 2 hits. They've been hitting all postseason long. I mean, certainly Trey Morgan might be your hottest hitter. He might be the hottest hitter in Omaha. And Gavin Dugas gets you a hit. It was Kay Beloso. That was the guy that stepped up. He gave you 3 hits. He was on base 4 times. You need that guy, like whoever that guy in the lineup is going to be, and you need some more of that. Right? You need Jordan Thompson, Braden Jobert. You need Milazzo if he's behind the dish again. You need someone to step up. Is it Josh Pearson? I don't know who that is, but you cannot go 0 for 5 from Thompson, 0 for 3 from Jobert, 0 for 3 from Milazzo, 0 for 3 for Pearson. You have to have some production if you want to continue to play. We have seen it in the postseason. Josh Pearson has been really good. He had moments in the regional where he was a really good player, kind of a second leadoff for you, right? Now, Milazzo hasn't played a ton, but if Travinsky is still out and he's got to play, you got to find a way to get on base. Now, he got hit by a pitch. He had a pass ball yesterday, so at least that is being productive. If you don't, have any hits, at least you did get on base and you did have a situation where you came up and there was a pass ball and you got a run scored. Okay, Jobert, like we have seen him and what he can do. We saw it in the first game of the College World Series, but those were all fastballs. I don't know that he's gotten a fastball really. He might have one yesterday. Everything else has been a breaking ball, right? Can he make that adjustment to be the player that we have seen him be, certainly not only in his LSU career, but here as of late? Jordan Thompson, you got to get out of it, right? You have to get out of it. Taylor, what did you say that he is batting here in the postseason?
Yeah, after last night, from regionals till now, 111 batting average for Jordan Thompson.
Yeah.
I believe it was something like 2 for 21 or something like that.
Yeah, and it's – okay, batting average is one thing, but also productive outs. And we saw it yesterday. 2 bunts, both went up in the air, right? The game before, 4 strikeouts. Like, we have seen Jordan Thompson come up with clutch, big hit moments, and he was feet away, inches away from having that last night, right? And maybe that gives him that confidence. He rips 2 down the line. It looks like they're going to be doubles, just foul. Maybe he can get going a little bit because you're going to need 7, 8, 9, however that plays out, to give you something. You can't have any more offers if you want to continue to play baseball there in Omaha. All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to be joined by the handyman. Charles Hanagriff will join us. Before we get to Handy, I want to remind you, go to RejuveMeMedical.com. Once you go to the website, you will find a list of conditions they can treat for you, and everybody's got something going on, and they can get to the bottom of it over at Rejuve Me Medical. You can get that consultation set up right there on the website as well. In the top right corner is where you can find that request a consultation button. Also, 225-230-3486 is that number. Charles Hanagriff from Omaha when we come back here on OTB.
OTB, OT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
is a taco more than just a taco when it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Order the spicy chicken biscuit on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
Jimmy Hot, Charles Hanagriff for the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're live in Omaha at Ameristar at their sportsbook, brought to you by United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. It's Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. from Omaha Wednesday on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember that 104.5 ESPN and Rev Business bring you live coverage from Omaha of the 2023 Men's College World Series. Charles Hanagriff and Jimmy Ott will continue our coverage from Omaha this afternoon. Tune in to Live at Lunch at 11 a.m.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
All right, welcome back into OTB here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and it is always a great time to catch up with the Hanny Man, our guy Charles Hanagriff, who is in Omaha right now, obviously covering the College World Series, and I'm sure him and Jimmy have done some things in Iowa as well here during the trip. Hanny, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Doing great, Jake. How you?
Doing well, especially after last night. LSU stays alive. And, Handy, I mean, you've covered this sport for so long. You've been to Omaha so many times. If you want to stay alive, you have to have someone be superhuman in their start, right? And it has to come from a guy that you weren't expecting it to come from. and Nate Ackenhausen was that guy for LSU last night.
Yeah, when they decided to start him, in my head, I thought if they get 3 innings out of him, that would be a real good start. And obviously he exceeded that, doubled that. I thought that it was an interesting decision that Jay Johnson had to make, that Riley Cooper was going to pitch in yesterday's game. It was just a matter of when. And we thought he might go with him to start to get him off to a good start. But, you'd rather have him in there with the game, coming down to the end. And I thought he was great again. He throws strikes. This park, plays to his advantage when the wind's blowing in. Because Riley Cooper, you can get a hit, you can hit the ball off of him, but, man, you're not going to drive anything into this wind. He's not going to give up any walks. He's just perfect for what LSU needs.
And he was that. And also, like, just knowing how the park plays and knowing what the strike zone is, which, it's been a little different here in Omaha, but last night you get an idea of what it is, and you know how to pitch to the ballpark and not trying to do too much. And you had 2 guys go out there and do that, Hanny, and that's a large part of it, just knowing exactly what you can get away with.
And don't underestimate the value of Alex Milazzo behind the plate. I thought he framed up maybe as many as 5 or 6 pitches last night that he just made the pitcher's job a lot easier. Yes, the umpire was a lot more consistent than the one from Game 2, but I thought Milazzo made a real difference. And, you talk about defensive catching and how important it is. There's a wild pitch that gets away from, your opponent last night that gets you a run, and Tennessee gives that up. LSU, on the other hand, had, I thought, an ace, a real defensive ace behind the plate. And it was a real good move by Jay Johnson. Hayden Travinski, his biggest attribute is he can drive the ball out of the park. Well,
right.
To drive the ball out of this park with the wind blowing in, you need Aaron Judge, okay? the only way you're going to get one out of this park with the wind blowing in is to hit it down the line the way Dylan Cruz did. So I thought, making the move to Milazzo made a big difference last night.
Yeah, and obviously, like, what he was able to do, and, we've talked about it so many times in this show, and the pass balls, and you could, different metrics of it. But to your point, obviously with Hayden Travinski, and apparently like he has some kind of a nagging injury is what Musso was saying the radio call said, but still Milazzo certainly valuable last night behind the dish. But when you start looking at the lineup, Hanny, and, Milazzo has a night where he doesn't get a hit. Now he got a hit by pitch, got on base, but the guys around him, if you're going to have Milazzo in there, then you need some of those other guys, and Josh Pearson and Jordan Thompson and Braden Joubert. You almost feel like you need them to kind of, rally around him and support him in the lineup, because you got to get something from 7, 8, 9.
You got to get a little bit. Joubert had the big game earlier in the series. Last night it was Cade Beloso that had a good game. And I think that, Trey Morgan has, if you're going a little bit further up the lineup there, I think has had a fantastic series. But, you're right, Jake. You got to have everybody contribute. And we're just kind of waiting for that LSU offense to explode. We were looking back at some of the scores from last year's College World Series. And at this point, you had I think, 5 or 6 games where at least one team had scored in double digits. Well, we haven't come close to that. Now the wind has been blowing in, and that's been a part of it. But take Wake Forest, who offensively is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They've won a couple of 3-2 ball games. So we've just kind of been waiting on the offensive explosion. Wind's supposed to be blowing in again tonight, but maybe it'll be today.
All right, Hanny, with that being said, let's say the wind is blowing in tonight. Like, what do you think it looks like for LSU, like, on the mound? If you're like, okay, here's how I see it going. Because yesterday, I didn't think there was any way you could get any pitcher that would pitch over 5 innings. I thought there's no way. I thought we'd see 4 pitchers, and that's what it was going to be. How do you see it playing out tonight? Like, what do you think the realistic options are for Jay Johnson?
I'm expecting that kind of game again, and if I'm surprised that whoever starts those 6 innings, I'll be happy to be wrong. So after the game last night, somebody asked Jay Johnson about his pitching plans, and he's not going to give you, who's starting and all of that. But what he did say was, we've got 9 guys available. We're going to pitch the one we think is the best as long as he can go, and then we're going to go to the next guy. Well, if that was his strategy yesterday, then I got to look at who was warming up in case Riley Cooper struggle. Now, he didn't, but they had Blake Money and Gavin Guidry up in the bullpen. So, thinking along with Jay Johnson and listening to what he said in the post game, he must have thought those were his next two best options. Now, the opponent has changed, so maybe his thinking changes with the matchup, but my guess is that it'll be Money or Guidry to start tonight. That's just a guess.
Yeah, and in that situation, and obviously Gavin Guidry, I mean, we've seen he's been tough as nails in his mentality, and he wants the ball. But like when he's come in, it's certainly been in relief. And Blake Money has only started a handful of games this year, but does his starting experience in years past give him an advantage maybe here if you're picking between the two?
That's my guess, but a guess is all it is. Ackenhausen hasn't started a game all year, and he started one yesterday. So Gavin Guidry did get into the game on Saturday. He only threw one pitch, and it got hit over the wall. But, he's just the kind of competitor that'll maybe fire him up. So I think he's got those two guys. I think Cooper could pitch again today. He threw 40 pitches last night. I think he could probably give you somewhere in that area again. He's got a pretty elastic arm. I think he could pitch today or tomorrow, probably not both. So I think you've got those guys, and then I think you've got Griffin Herring, who could factor in. If they go in that direction, they want to go with a left-hander a little earlier in the game than they would use Cooper. So those are the guys I'm expecting, and if one of them does have a really, really short outing, then maybe Javen Coleman. But I would say Money, Guidry, Herring, and then Riley Cooper again.
All right, the question that we've been asked a bunch here so far earlier this morning, Haney, Paul Skeens. And we've seen it happen in professional baseball. You'll have Madison Bumgarner who will start a game. He'll come in relief if the game's closed, shut the door on the game. Obviously knowing that you still have more baseball to play and you got to win a couple of times here against Wake Forest. Is there any situation that you can see one of those starters somehow, some way come back and close the door?
I don't think today. I don't think they bring him back on 3 days rest, even for one batter. Now, tomorrow's a different story. Tomorrow you've got 4 days rest. That's reasonable, okay? And that would allow him also, to come back on 3 days rest for the final game for, maybe a shorter stint.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think today, Jake. I'd be very surprised if Paul Skeens got in the game today.
All right, Haney, what's kind of the plan for Wake Forest? I mean, obviously they have arms, and it could be Sullivan, it could be Keener, and Keener's ERA is 0.60. I mean, and that's in 30 innings pitched. I mean, that's not in 10 innings pitched. He's been a midweek guy for a portion of the season, but obviously Wake Forest, and we talked about it with Tennessee, that's one of the things that gives them an advantage in this format is they have the arms. What do you expect to see from Wake Forest?
So they didn't play 3 games in the Super Regional, so we don't have that to go on. So I'm going to go back to what they did in the final, and I'm throwing the conference tournament out because that format is very different.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go back to what they did in the final regular season weekend on Sunday, which was Keener.
Yeah.
And then into the regional, where you pitch down in the first game with your number 3 usually, it was Keener. Now, he came in relief on Saturday and threw an inning and a third, but I don't think that compromises him to the point that he can't pitch today. So he's my best guess as who's going to start for Wake Forest today. And as you said, they've got plenty of bullpen. All those guys that pitched on Monday could come back today. I don't think you'll see Rhett Lauder today, but kind of like Paul Skeens, I think he would be the guy tomorrow. If you get to it, you bring the aces back on 4 days rest. But my best guess is it'll be Keener.
I mean, that matchup, Lauder versus Skeens, a matchup, and Haney, I don't know if it's been like this for you, but every time I've talked college baseball this year, and certainly once we kind of figured out who the top teams were, like that's the matchup that everyone wanted to see in Omaha. Now, you didn't know when it was going to come, now maybe, or even the championship series, but Lauder Skeens with, going to the championship series on the line. Hey, I think baseball fans, we all deserve that, Haney.
Yeah, and I watching him on Saturday against Stanford, they in the first inning they loaded the bases, and he was able to get out of that with only 1 run coming across. And everybody up here that we've talked to baseball wise has said that Wake Forest really benefited from that rain delay, kind of calmed them down a little bit. They were able to come back, get a 2-run single, and beat Stanford. But it's one play that in each of the games, the 2-run single by Stanford the play at the plate in the 8th inning against LSU that has really propelled Wake Forest here. They've had excellent pitching. They've had excellent defense. But that offense has been quiet. You know, they scored 3 runs in each of the 2 games. So kind of like LSU, we've been waiting for the offensive explosion from Wake Forest, and maybe that's tonight. You know, even with the wind blowing in, we're due a high-scoring game. 8 of the 10 games have gone under the total. And I told you about last year. We're due one of those. We're due a slugfest, and maybe that's tonight.
Yeah, and certainly, look, if you're LSU, obviously Wake Forest has a very good offense, but in our opinion, and when you look at the analytics, LSU is the best offense in the country, and so that wouldn't be the worst thing, in my opinion, for it to be kind of that situation. All right, Hanny, before we let you go, what do you and Jimmy have coming up?
Well, we're going at 11 o'clock today. Kyle Peterson from ESPN will be with us, and we're still efforting a couple of other things that I hope come to pass here in about an hour and a half. So beautiful day up here. The sun is out. It is hot, not as hot as it is where you guys are. And again, we're expecting the forecast is for the wind to blow in today and to continue to blow in all the way into the weekend when it's supposed to turn around.
All right, there he is, the handyman, Charles Hanagriff, joining us from Omaha. Handy, we appreciate it, brother. Enjoy the rest of the trip.
Thanks, Jake.
Something feels right about Hanagriff and not being in Omaha together, doing shows. Absolutely have thoroughly enjoyed their coverage, and you can catch them on every show. They're going to do they'll do a hunt show, they'll do a match show. They'll continue to have daily hits here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and so we appreciate their time. All right, we appreciate your time. It's coming to an end, though, with one final segment, Ask the Bench, when we come back. But before we get there, I want to remind you, go to Central Plumbing. CentralPlumbing.org is the website for all your plumbing needs. And if you've got an emergency going on, 225-925-8552 is that 24/7 emergency service number. We'll wrap it up when we come back here. It is OTB.
OTB, OT.
All right, go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, and Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, and we tell you about them every single day. So many different ways to get in contact with them. You can go to that website that I just gave you, getgordon.com, and maybe you're already at work. Maybe you've already got your day started and you can't get to the phone, but you have a question. That is okay, because a live agent is waiting on you to answer that question on the website. You can have that chat right there on the home page. But a couple of different ways to find out more information. You can always pick up the phone wherever you're at in Louisiana. It doesn't matter, from top to bottom and everywhere in between, whatever your area code is, followed by the 8s, 888-8888. You can ask that question and get it answered on the phone. You can go check them out on social media. You probably guessed it, the handle @GetGordon. On Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can also check out all the great things they're doing in the community. So many different ways to interact and get in contact with them. Go to the website, Get Gordon, and get it done.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch, Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
So join me for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Transfer pitcher Justin Lohr joins the show, and so does Kris Demouy. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Big news. T-Bob found his phone.
Hell
Big news. What a day for T-Bob Hebert. Not only does LSU beat Tennessee once, they beat them twice. And so the hype videos now, because it was 0 for 2. But now it's 2 for 2, so we can expect more hype videos from T-Bob anytime LSU plays Tennessee. I don't know if he'll be able to join us tomorrow because he's probably going to be traveling, but he will be back on Friday. All right, it's time for Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cola Cruz Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, Blue Moon, Light Sky, Citrus Wheat. Ask the Bench, why is T-Bob selling out OTB, but then doing a 30-minute live show for Snaps? Your boy's head is getting too big. LOL. Doing Snaps, huh, T? Oh, that's interesting. We might have to ask him that.
Yeah, might have to.
Didn't know that information. We're going to have to ask him that. I thought there was a chance. We're going to ask him that when he comes back on Friday.
SMH.
Hashtag Ask the Bench. Can we get a reunion show for evening hanging with Hester? Yeah, we can do that. We can do like a 3-hour special one night, and we'll have rants. We'll have Dick Dixon. We'll have Flynn. We'll get Austin Bain to come back from Oxford. Who am I missing? I feel like Hunt was a big part of it as well, but he's got his own show. He might not want to come back, but yeah, I'll do that. Actually, I'd rather do it like on a YouTube stream where it's like uncensored, maybe not over the radio. We can do that one night. That actually would be a lot of fun. Let's see. Ask the Bench. Would you be more disappointed with losing the game or that Skeens leaves LSU without the record?
Losing the game. Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
man.
like I like Skeens. No offense, it's not my record. I don't really care. So I'd rather LSU win the game.
I think if you ask Skeens, he would say win the game as well, because even if he doesn't get the record, it's not going to get lost what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, you've run out of superlatives to say about what he has been this year. So even though he might not have the record, everyone knows that he's been the most dominant pitcher maybe that we've ever seen in a one-year sample size in the SEC. Nick, Justin Vincent would certainly be a part of that as well. Ask the bench, would you rather visit the Titanic or climb Mount Everest?
Is it guaranteed that I survive both trips?
I think so. I'm
Okay,
climbing
then the
Everest.
Titanic, because you got to stop on Mount Everest and like take oxygen and stuff like that and camp out. I'd rather do the Titanic.
Still Everest for me. Be cool.
Yeah, Everest. I'm going to have my feet on the ground for sure. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow. OTB.
OTB, OT.
All right, go to PatientPlusUC.com. PatientPlusUC.com. Patient Plus always there for you when it is not the best time, when it's inconvenient, right? They're going to be convenience for you. That's why it's quality care for life's little unexpected moments. And because it's unexpected, you certainly can walk in any location in the Baton Rouge area, which no matter where you live in the Baton Rouge area, there's going to be a location that is very convenient for you. But if you have some time to plan, another convenience that they offer for you is you can schedule that appointment online on the website. Again, PatientPlusUC.com. And look, if you're like me, you know sometimes like things happen. You might have something happen, and it's never going to be at a convenient time, right? It's never going to be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's always going to be at nighttime, and you're going to have stitches, and you're going to have whatever it might be. And Patient Plus has always been there for me. They will be there for you as well. Again, you can check out the website. You can go ahead and get that appointment scheduled. PatientPlusUC.com. Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful